Hello and welcome back to Gov Fuller Field. Danny LaRose, David Korzenowski. We're ready for Game 2. The Falmouth Commodores were walk-off winners in Game 1 by a score of 3-2 in the bottom of the 7th inning, thanks to a Zach DeLoach single that scored Hayden Cantrell. And we are also enjoying Military Appreciation Night here at Gov Fuller Field. The festivities underway and nearly closed as we're just a couple moments away from first pitch. So, David, what did you see in Game 1 between these two very competitive teams and also two surging teams in their respective divisions?
Yeah, before I get to talking about Game 1, it's just been a beautiful day here with Military Appreciation Night. It's been a great day, and the sun is shining. Fans are filling in for Game 2. Game 1 was one of the best games we saw all year for the Falmouth Commodores. Clean game of baseball, only one error coming Chatham's way in those final innings. But Falmouth was great. 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors. If they played a 9-inning game, they probably put up double-digit hits for the 4th game in a row. I just saw more of the same. Lockdown pitching. Tyler Ross looked really good, and Justin Wroblewski out of the pen, and the bats were solid.
It was a very complete game for Falmouth. We've seen a couple of those, one coming against Bourne a couple days ago, and they won 3-0. This one, 3-2 over Chatham in Game 1. We'll see if Game 2 has the same fortune for the Falmouth Commodores. They will be pitching Robbie Ahlstrom, a reliever. He's a starter at Oregon, but a reliever so far this summer for Falmouth, going up against, how about this, a reliever at Miami who's becoming a starter here on the Cape. So a little role reversal.
I think we're going to see more runs in Game 2. Robbie Ahlstrom has a 6.35 ERA. This is his 5th appearance of the summer. He hasn't got more than 2 innings all summer long. His last time out against Brewster, an inning and a third in relief, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, no walks. So he's looked good with his command. And with Falmouth losing a few pitchers, Mike Landry says, hey, we'll throw you out there for a 7-inning game, see what you can do. Same thing for Fetterman. He's been solid. He really throws a lot of strikes, limits that walk count quite a bit. But I think with the bats coming back for Game 2, sort of getting into that rhythm, I think we're going to see a higher scoring game.
So Ahlstrom from Oregon, Fetterman from Miami. The two coasts and all the way down south, all the way up north, coming together in Massachusetts. The great thing about the Cape League. As we turn our attention towards the field, Falmouth still wearing those red jerseys because of Red Fridays, and fittingly on Military Appreciation Night. And there is Robbie Ahlstrom, the left-hander, who's a Duck during the spring season and a Commodore right now, throwing into Taylor Smith behind the plate. We'll run through the Chatham lineup for you. Very different lineup from Game 1. They didn't see too much success in Game 1. Got a good amount of hits, but really didn't get guys in scoring position. So Game 2, Tom Holliday deciding, let's change it up. He's got Houston Morel, who got a pinch hit opportunity, starting at leadoff and playing short. Tyler Dones follows him at second base. Caden Polkovich playing center field and batting third. Jamal O'Gwyn in the cleanup spot playing left. Alex Terrell bumps down one spot from cleanup to fifth. He's playing first base yet again. Kendrick Kalalau moves over to right field batting sixth. Jorge Arenas is batting seventh and playing the hot corner. Charlie Welch behind the plate. And Paxton Wallace, the designated hitter, down in the 9 hole. So you look at 1, 2, 7, 8, and 9, all new guys.
Yeah, all different, and it's kind of funny because with doubleheaders here on the Cape, there's not a lot of time between Game 1 and Game 2, so it can get a little chaotic when they're putting out that second lineup. And Tom Holliday was about to switch the entire lineup before Game 2 when he found out that Robbie Ahlstrom is a lefty, because originally for this game, it was going to be Franco Aleman, probably the most lockdown pitcher on this Falmouth staff, if not in the entire Cape League. He's a righty, and Chatham has seen him before. But Tom Holliday got the news Robbie Ahlstrom's out there, so the one switch he made was getting Cade Cabanis out of the 6th spot and putting in Kendrick Kalalau, still in search of his first hit on the summer. But there was a little bit of confusion before the game, and that's kind of characteristic of these doubleheaders.
So it is Robbie Ahlstrom who will be towing the rubber for Falmouth as we are just about to get underway in Game 2. Falmouth, of course, victors in Game 1, 3-2. On a walk-off over Chatham. Chatham's 5-game winning streak snapped. Falmouth looking to make it 5 games in a row if they can sweep the doubleheader right here. First pitch from Ahlstrom, a fastball right down Broadway at 6:02 p.m.
Clouds rolling in, a little more cloud cover. Game 1 was a hot one.
Oh, yeah.
All the players, managers, coaches were seeking some shade after that game.
Houston Morel now watches an off-speed pitch in the same exact spot. He quickly finds himself behind no balls and 2 strikes. In Game 1, Morel came on as a pinch hitter. He walked, tried to steal second base, was caught stealing in the 7th. Helped keep that inning scoreless before Falmouth was able to come back in the bottom half and win it.
Yeah, sneaky, maybe play of the game from from Matt Nelson behind the plate, and the tag by Kevin Kendall over at short. He leapt in the air, swept with that left hand, and applied the tag. Right. Unbelievable play. Otherwise would have put a runner in scoring position with nobody out.
Right. Came right to the brim of the helmet and knocked off Morel's helmet. The 1-2 curveball loped out into right center field. Hayden Cantrell has a read on it, and he will make the squeeze out at second base for a pop-out to kick us off.
Now batting, the second baseman from Western Virginia University, number 4.
So another new face in the lineup for Chatham, as Tyler Dones is going to be the hitter. Playing second base today. He's from Morgantown, West Virginia. Plays for West Virginia. First pitch he sees from Robbie Ahlstrom, fastball taken on the outside corner. Dones has gotten to a little bit of a hot stretch. He's 4 for his last 8 and got his first RBIs of the season just last night. He's been here since opening day and did not get any RBIs until last night's victory over Orleans. The 0-1. Another fastball cranked towards the left side. That one's going to get through the hole. Trey Cruz almost got there but didn't want to dive for it, and Dones is going to be on first, taking a huge turn.
Yeah, I think even if Trey Cruz dove for that one, he would not have been able to make the throw. Deep in the hole. Sort of a softly hit ground ball that just found the gap in between Cruz and Tawa on the left side of the infield.
So Caden Polkovich, who went 0 for 1 in Game 1, had 2 walks in his final 2 plate appearances, did score a run. That saw his 6-game hitting streak come to a sudden halt, although, again, reached base a lot. Ahlstrom from the stretch. Kicks and fires home. First pitch on the inside corner, called strike 1.
Polkovich, one of the most consistent hitters in the Chatham lineup. But he and the Anglers largely stymied for that first game. Only 4 hits, although a couple extra base hits, a couple doubles.
They looked like they definitely had their bats moving, but not frequently enough, as ball is taken low and outside, but they say he went around. So just like that, it's 0-2. Polkovich doesn't like either call, but he's going to have to dig himself out of a hole. Polkovich has now walked in 7 straight games after Game 1. He's just an on-base machine for the Anglers. Ahlstrom with a long look towards first, now comes home. Breaking ball. Did he go? Yes, he did. An emphatic call over at first base, and Polkovich, 3 close pitches, the last 2 called swinging strikes on check swings.
So the biggest thing they're looking for on if you checked your swing is if your wrists bent, and if they went across, and the bat head, if it goes past the front edge of home plate, that's a sign that you went around as well. I think Polkovich did both, especially on that third pitch.
Pickoff move over to first, nothing doing.
Sam Finn, the first base umpire, making both calls.
Mike Finn moved on over to be the third base umpire. He was behind home plate in Game 1, and Vicente Medina now behind home. First pitch to Jamal O'Gwyn, just outside ball 1. O'Gwyn in Game 1 he hit in the only 2 runs that Chatham was able to score. He had a single in the 3rd inning that plated 2, put the Anglers up 2-1 at the time. That was all the runs they would get. The 1-0. Same spot, but this time a little further to the inside, and catches the corner, a ball and a strike.
Polkovich, another guy who's going to be transferring next year. He'll be moving on from Oklahoma State to Northwest Florida State. He was first for the Cowboys in home runs, walks, and runs this past year.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought he was going to Oklahoma State. Because I remember watching, right after Falmouth played Chatham, I was watching an Oklahoma State game in the Super Regional, and he wasn't playing in it, but I saw on Twitter that he was playing for Chatham, and I was very confused because they said he was at Oklahoma State.
Transfers all get muddled up in our heads.
Ball 2 to Jamal O'Gwyn, who is at Southern California and staying at Southern California, originally from Fresno. 6'4", 220. He's got a powerful build, and it's shown off, team leader in RBIs. Now at 17 on the summer. The 2-1 from Robbie. Just catches the outside corner. Thought it was going to be a ball, but a late strike call.
Well, that's one thing about Vincente Medina. He did the same thing at first base in Game 1. He's a little bit late with the calls. Takes his time to make the signal. Saw on a couple of the close plays at first base. Was waiting sometimes a second, almost two, for his sign.
So 2-2 the count. Runner goes. Ball is low, and Smith can't get the grip on the baseball as he juggles it out of his own hands. And that will be a stolen base for Dones.
Chatham did not successfully steal a base in Game 1. They don't go nearly as much. As, again, we talked about that big catch to end the, or in the 7th inning, I should say.
Payoff pitch misses just a tad low, and reaching first base thanks to a walk is O'Gwyn. So 2 runners on the base paths with 2 outs. This inning looked like it was going to be smooth sailing for Ahlstrom after the strikeout to Polkovich, but things are getting a little testy.
Alex Terrell trying to bust out of a slump of his own. He was hitless in Game number 1. Had 2 strikeouts as well, 0 for 3.
First pitch to the big lefty, grounded right at first base, and there is Jackson Coots to take it himself for the final out of the inning. Alex Terrell continues to slump with the Anglers, and that will retire the side in the first. We see no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 runners left on base for Chatham. To the bottom of the first we go. 0-0.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare. Expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Welcome back to Gov Fuller Field, 0-0 as we begin the home half of the first. And we'll take a look at the Commodores starting lineup in game number 2. They're led off once again by Hayden Cantrell, because why not? Who else is going to lead off? Blake Dunn follows him at center field, followed by Zach DeLoach. He's DHing now, so same top 3, top of the order for Falmouth as in game 1, only DeLoach moves to the designated hitting spot. Trey Cruz moves up to the cleanup hole. He's playing short. Jackson Coots, the first baseman, 5th. Taylor Smith after him, Barron Radcliffe, Tim Tawa, Austin Maisel round things out. So a couple of new faces for Falmouth as they get some guys some rest. We see Coots getting in there, Maisel getting in there, Radcliffe getting in there. But, I mean, for the most part, like I said in game 1, it's kind of plug and play, so no matter what Trundy does, he's pretty much set.
Yeah, absolutely. The top 4 all played in game number 1. Hitters 5 through 9, though, all getting their first start of the day. And in those 5, you see some bats who are really hot, like Austin Maisel, who's batting an even 500 and has been on fire lately. Tim Tawa, 2 for 4 last night. But then you see some other guys who are really trying to get going. I'm looking particularly at Barron Radcliffe. He's a guy who has so much untapped potential that has yet to be seen here on the Cape, batting just 130. Maybe this offensive rhythm and mojo that the rest of the team has can leak and help him out.
So batting from the left side is the switch hitter, Hayden Cantrell. He swings at the first pitch he sees, like always, bloops it into center field. It's dying fast, and it will, right in front of the center fielder, Caden Polkovich, who is coming on quickly. Hayden Cantrell gets himself a bloop hit, and he continues to tear up pitching.
The center fielder from Western Michigan.
Off the bat, it looked really hard hit, and I thought Polkovich was doing the right thing. He took a couple steps back, but then he all of a sudden had to get on his horse and sprint in. Ball still landed about 5-10 feet in front of him. So maybe just misread, and he thought it was really hard hit off the bat. Just died out in center.
First pitch to Blake Dunn misses outside, so immediately the starter for Chatham, Daniel Fetterman, is tagged with a hit. Fetterman, who was Miami's setup guy this past year in 2019, was intended to be their closer, but they moved him into the 8th inning, and he was dominant there. 35 appearances, racked up 7 saves, 3.51 ERA. Ground ball to short. This could be 2. It's bobbled over at short, and Dunn is probably going to beat it out. Yes, he will. An error committed by the shortstop, Houston Morrell, and that would have erased the runners off the base paths, brought 2 outs, and instead there are runners on first and second, and nobody out.
In game 1, we saw Ben Ramirez from USC over at short, and he was very sure-handed over there. He did have a throwing error, but it was on a really tough play, soft ground ball, which he then had to hustle to throw onto first. That is a bummer for Morrell, because as you said, it should have been 2. It would have cleared the base paths. It got to him in a hurry, so I think they would have gotten done at first base, but now 2 on, nobody out.
Zach DeLoach, who was the hero of Game 1, 3 for 3 with the walk-off hit, will be at the plate. Final comment about Fetterman's statistics is you'll love this. The strikeouts compared to the walks in the innings pitched. 60 strikeouts over 48 and 2/3 innings of work, only 19 walks. For sure a strikeout pitcher with a fastball that hits in the mid-90s.
Yeah, I mean, a 3-to-1 ratio. It's pretty darn good, especially when you're going that many innings. This summer he struggled a little bit. This is just his second start. In his first start was tagged for 4 runs in 3 innings.
He fires a breaking ball in the outside corner. That first start was at Wareham on June 16th. He threw 3 innings, got the loss, letting up 4 runs on 7 hits, 1 walk and 3 Ks. Really got batted around. That's why the ERA is up at 7.10. But then he responded well in his next 2 appearances, both of them out of the pen. 0-2 the count to DeLoach from Texas A&M. The pitch. Fastball cut on and missed, and speak of the devil, he ramps up the fastball up high, and the red-hot DeLoach is cooled off.
Now batting, the shortstop from Rice University, number 2.
And it shows that Tom Holliday is comfortable moving him around, right? He was a starter, then he goes into late relief. He notched up a save as well against Katuitt. That wasn't a really close ball game, a 4-2 win for the Anglers. Then he pitched 1 inning against Yarmouth Dennis in a 15-1 rout. Now he's back starting.
First pitch to Trey Cruz is fouled away. Fetterman, who has never started a game in his 2-year Miami career, was the team leader in appearances out of the bullpen for the Hurricanes, and the Miami coaching staff didn't really want him to go to the Cape because, I mean, he led the team in appearances. They wanted to save his arm, but he said he really wanted the opportunity in front of the scouts and also the opportunity to start. Getting that opportunity for the second time this summer as he calls time and wants to talk things over with his backstop, Charlie Welch.
Trey Cruz's birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Trey Cruz.
He gave himself a happy birthday that first game.
He did indeed. He's a storyline at Rice University. Father, grandfather, and brother all have played with the Owls. So he turns 21 today.
Big day on a
Big
Friday.
day.
First, he's got to play baseball as the 0-1 breaking ball misses high. Trey was unfazed by, the birthday and what have you in Game 1. 2 for 3, a single and a double with a run scored. The 1-1, fastball blown right by him. It's 1-2.
We saw with Madden, the starter from Texas in Game 1, he had a fastball that's listed at 90 to 94. Fetterman, he's got some zip on it as well. Falmouth having trouble catching up right now.
He's going to look back Hayden Cantrell at second base, who is dancing around over there. Morrell, the shortstop, keeping him very close. Is a lefty in Cruz who knows how to shoot the opposite field, so Cantrell can really wreak havoc and open up some gaps for Trey. Here's the 1-2. On the inside corner, strike 3 called. Looked like it was a tad inside, but a good frame job gets the backwards K against Trey Cruz, and that's back-to-back strikeouts.
So when Fetterman doesn't get some help from his infield with Morrell over at short, he then takes matters into his own hands. 2 big strikeouts, and now a play at any base except home will get him out of the inning unscathed.
He's got to get past Jackson Coots, who is a very consistent hitter for Falmouth. First pitch swinging as Coots fouls it away. And after the error that Morrell committed, he kind of was hanging his head, and I saw Fetterman, before he touched the rubber, kind of rocking his fist at him, telling him, I got you, I got this. And so far, so good. Got the next 2 strikeouts, taking matters into his own hands, as you said.
Reminds me of what Franco Aleman said when he was up here in the booth. When you're in jams, you just have to be that much better as a pitcher.
Some guys can't handle the pressure. Franco absolutely can. We saw Tyler Ross able to last game. See if Fetterman can here with 2 outs. The 0-1, fastball high. Jackson Coots from the University of Rhode Island, batting just below 300 at about 280. As I mentioned, he's a very consistent hitter because he's got 1 hit in just about every game he's played all season. He's only been hitless in 1 game. Another quick conference between Fetterman and Welch. They can't quite seem to connect on the same page. Welch, a catcher over at Pepperdine. Originally from Clearwater, Florida. I don't know what Medina is telling us, but
I have yet to pick up on all of the umpire sign language, so.
1-1 to Coots, flown out towards left field foul. It might have been telling both dugouts and the scorekeeper that it counts as a mound visit, maybe if you have 2 in 1 inning.
Okay.
Regardless, Fetterman is looking good right now with Coots down 1-2. After back-to-back strikeouts, looking to make it 3 in a row to prevent any runs from coming home in the first. His pitch, just a tad too far inside.
Cantrell and Dunn doing what they've done so well this year, getting on base. We've seen that duo on first and second quite a bit these past few days.
2-2. Upstairs and away. Good eye by Jackson Coots on these last 2 pitches to lay off, and he's worked the count full.
And we saw them on second and first in the bottom of the 7th. With 1 down and Zach DeLoach at the plate. That was when he hit the game-winning RBI.
The payoff pitch. Fly ball into center field. Back end tracking and making the grab right near the wall is Caden Polkovich. Jackson Coots gave that one a ride, but maybe just a bit too far off the end of the bat, and that will retire the side. Falmouth scores no runs on 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 left on base. To the second we go, scoreless.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgentcare.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
Top 2 we go. Danny LaRose joined alongside David Korzanowski on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network. Kendrick Kalalau is going to lead things off for the from the University of Florida for the Chatham Anglers. Got to get those prepositions in order. Kalalau got the start in Game 1, and he went 0 for 3. First pitch he sees from Robbie Ahlstrom. Swings at it, grounds it towards Trey Cruz. Cruz on to first. Easy put out. So far, it's been an 0 for 4 day for Kalalau.
I'll tell you what, though, I like him. I think he's got some definite talent, especially defensively. He was locked down, and he got to a ton of hard-hit balls out in left field in game number 1. He's putting some hard swings on the ball. That one kind of died by the time it got to Trey Cruz, but sort of figuring out the wood bats and getting it used to Summer League like most of these batters do.
Jorge Arenas is going to be the hitter now with 1 out and nobody on. And David, you said that you kind of like him, and I'm going to argue with that I don't kind of like him.
Okay.
Strike one. Because I went up to Gainesville back in February for the series between Miami and Florida. I broadcasted it. And Kendrick Callaway put the Hurricanes to the woodshed. He was unbelievable that week. And it was like only his second series as a college player.
Right.
This was as a freshman. 0-1 from Alstrom. Drops in for a ball. He had...
Yeah, I got
3 straight
the stats up here,
multi-hit
too.
games. He went 7 for, 12
yeah.
in that series, and he had 6 RBIs as well.
2 doubles and a home run and a triple. Yikes.
Yeah. He won SEC Player of the Week thanks to that weekend, and it was just one of the single-handed most impressive performances against one team I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to see Kendrick Callaway ever again.
I'm surprised you didn't bring this up earlier.
Well, you know what? I had it up, but every single at-bat he's had has been so quick.
Right.
1-2 misses low. And so far it's been so good for Falmouth. As, like I said, they've kept him 0 for 4.
Yeah, very talented player, though. Definitely will be drafted after his junior year. UF with a ton of talented guys.
Yeah.
Kind of a disappointing year for the Gators, though.
They've got a very young roster. Payoff pitch, boomed out into right center field. That one is going to get down for a hit and one hop the fence. Baron Radcliffe digs it out. The cutoff throw comes in. And that'll be a stand-up double for Jorge Arenas.
Something about Chatham, they just hit a lot of doubles.
Yeah.
21 doubles coming into game 1. They had 2 doubles in that game. Ended up losing 3-2, but now another one that one-hops the wall off the bat of Jorge Arenas. He wants in on the action. That's his 4th 2-bagger of the year. He's a very solid player who also spent 2018 in Chatham with a .214 batting average last summer.
That's why I recognize that name.
Yes, sir.
I was wondering all season long, why do I recognize that? Charlie Welch now the hitter, the catcher, and rising sophomore at Pepperdine. In a bit of a drought right now. He's 2 for his last 19. Got those 2 hits in the last 2 games played. So starting to get on the upswing. First pitch he sees, breaking ball that drops over the middle of the plate. Strike 1. Welch had limited playing time his freshman year. 26 games played, only a .211 average. Alstrom taking his time, looking back Arenas a lot. He fires a ball outside.
And Welch had a really long drought at the plate where he was 0 for 14 going into early July. Finally broke that streak with a pinch hit against Harwich in a 3-2 win. Then went 1 for 4 against Orleans on July 3rd.
1-1 from Alstrom. Lined towards the right side and well fouled, 1-2. Charlie Welch, we mentioned those statistics he had this past year. He had 1 home run on the season, and it was in his very first collegiate at-bat.
Yep.
And it was a grand slam.
That's a pretty good way to start your college career.
And then it's also like no matter what you do, it's all downhill from there.
True, true. He did have a really great game against Vanderbilt, though, when they were number 5 in the country. He went 3 for 4 against the Commodores.
Trying to do the same here against these Commodores. Down 1-2 to Alstrom. Robbie takes a long look in. Big lead over at second base. Here's the pitch. Just getting a piece of it is Welch as he manages to stay alive.
Something that interests me about Robbie Alstrom, not sure if you can see it super clearly from our camera, but he has that right leg a good half a stride almost in front of his left. So I'm wondering what that does for his balance, right? Because it's not like he's lined up. And he's almost like leaning back in that stance.
1-2. Fastball clocked out into deep left center field. Back at the wall, and that ball is gone. Robbie Alstrom left a fastball about letter high, and Charlie Welch says, I tear up Commodores. Hits a 2-run home run.
That ball was crushed. He got under it a little bit because that went really, really far up in the air, but no chance for Maisel as he went back to the wall. And even though he got under it, he had so much power and he lined up the fastball that didn't matter.
That is definitely a mistake that Alstrom wants back. On 1-2, left a pitch right over the heart of the plate. Paxton Wallace will be the hitter, nobody on and 1 out. Now Chatham leading 2-0. Strike number 1 hits the inside corner to the designated hitter from Wichita State University. Paxton originally from Arkansas. Swings at that one, lifts it out into center field. Blake Dunn is there, and he'll make the grab in deep center for the second out.
Alstrom getting hit hard right now. I don't know if that's a good sign that he's pitching to contact and trusting his defense, or that Chatham is sort of cracking the code. That was the first time through the lineup he gives up 2 runs on 3 hits, and that's a quick visit from Mike Landry. Nobody warming in the pen, so likely just a conversation.
I like this visit because even though he got an out, it was a very loud out, and it was very obvious that the home run to Welch, fastball left over the middle of the zone with 2 strikes. The fly out from Wallace, fastball middle high, and also it came on 0-1. So that's not a pitch that you want to be leaving there on a count like that. So Landry noticing that he's missing his spots and leaving the ball way over the plate. Going to discuss things with Robbie. That will be before he faces Houston Morrell, the leadoff man who popped out to second in his first plate appearance. An Oklahoma State Cowboy. Not too much damage that Chatham can do to Alstrom right now with nobody on base, but you never know with the long ball. Falmouth managed to limit the long ball against Catuit in their previous couple of games in the home-and-home against the Kettleers. Only let up 1 to a Catuit team that is far and away probably the most powerful on the Cape. Alstrom from the windup fires a first pitch, and it's fouled away 0-1.
And Alstrom has gotten hit hard this summer. He has now given up 2 home runs. He gave up a home run to Andrew Eister in just a third of an inning of work against Yarmouth Dennis. So that was the 1 earned run on the 1 hit.
Big looping curveball sits a bit high.
Alstrom with a 3.93 ERA during his sophomore year at Oregon.
A lot of curveballs that we're seeing from Alstrom. A lot of slow movement on them as well.
I'm wondering if he's going back to the curveball now that fastball has gotten sort of slapped around a little bit. Maybe that's what Landry advised him to do.
He's fallen behind with it, now goes to a fastball, hits the knees with it. So the fastball hitting the plate a lot, but maybe too much plate. The curveball, a lot of great movement, but not getting enough plate.
And that's why a hot start for a pitcher is so important to get into that groove, because now he might be in his own head.
2-2. Checks his swing. Yes, he went around, says Medina, and jumping and spinning is Morrell. Frustrated that Medina decided not to appeal down to first. Nonetheless, it's a swinging strikeout to end the second inning, but Chatham scores 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. The Anglers with an early lead here in Falmouth.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Please remember to recycle your empty bottles, cans, and all other recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball cap.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
Chatham up 2-0. That's something that Daniel Fetterman is used to, pitching with a lead, being as the late game guy for the Miami Hurricanes, typically the setup guy. So 2-0 in favor of the Anglers, and towards the bottom of the order for Falmouth, 6, 7, and 8, Smith, Radcliffe, and Tawa. 3 guys who all did not appear in the first game.
Taylor Smith, 231 average. was finally held without a hit his last time out. Had 3 hits in his first 3 games before that.
Smith, the catcher, been switching around a ton, the catchers, as he swings at the first pitch. And it seems like every single game, new DH, a new catcher, and new first baseman. Because it's either Smith behind the plate or Nelson or Claunch. Claunch moving to first. We've seen Coots at first. We've seen Smith play DH a lot. This time he is doing the catching for Alstrom. 0-1 misses outside. Clouds have begun to roll in at Gov Fuller Field in Falmouth. It was clear blue skies and insanely hot and humid for Game 1. Now becoming overcast, but still pretty bright with the sun close to setting in a couple hours. Check swing, and yes, he went around. Smith falls behind 1-2.
My weather app saying 77 right now. No chance of rain as I knock on the wooden counter here.
Yeah, I'm not believing
in the
it.
press box. That's one of the things about early July, though, Danny. I feel like we're finally in the swing of things.
1-2 misses low. I'm sure the team would say the same thing.
Yeah.
I think there has to be a direct correlation between playing every single day and getting into the swing of things with also the success they've had on the field.
Right.
2-2 from Fed. Line drive and well foul into the Chatham bullpen and well past it.
Smith does not hit to the opposite field.
No.
If he's hitting a ball hard, it is going to the left side. We saw that's where his 2 home runs were. That's where his double was.
2-2 again, misses high. All of his fouls are over there.
Yeah.
And he shows off the power just about every single at-bat because you can bank on pretty much one foul ball being like that one we saw.
And he's got tremendous bat speed. That's how he can get it around so quick. That's why he pulls the ball so much.
Payoff pitch to Smith. Fastball, and it's clubbed into center field. Playable for Polkovich. He camps under it, a can of corn for the first out.
Now batting the right
So since
fielder
that
from the
error
Tech,
made
number
by
44,
Morrell over at short,
Radcliffe.
4 up, 4 down for the Commodores, 2 strikeouts and 2 flyouts to center field. Fetterman really getting into his groove.
Seen really only one hard hit ball came from Jackson Coots on the deep fly ball that ended the first. Baron Radcliffe, who's a hard hitter himself, watches a ball outside. Baron did not play yesterday at Katuitt, but in batting practice, he was hitting bombs.
Yeah.
And I know we've said this a lot, but he hit one that probably went 450 feet, I swear. 1-0 misses up and away. There's a lot of tree cover at Lowell Park, and it went about 3/4 of the way up like a 50-foot tall tree.
I've heard similar stories from his BPs down at Georgia Tech.
Big lefty for the Yellow Jackets. The 2-0 gets a fastball right down the chute, decides to lay off.
I don't know if it's urban legend or not, but the baseball field down at Georgia Tech in Atlanta, right by Frat Row, and
Yeah.
I've heard that those houses' lawns are riddled with Baron Radcliffe baseballs.
2-1 over the middle of the plate again. Radcliffe not comfortable swinging at these last 2 pitches, although they caught a lot of plate. Count now even 2-2. Fetterman fighting back from falling behind. He rocks and fires. Fastball inside, and it hit him. Hit Barron right on the toes as he jumps away from it, and will go down to first base.
Now batting the third
Radcliffe has
baseman,
worked 4
Stanford
walks,
University,
hit by a
number
pitch on that
13,
inside fastball.
Tawa.
He'll get another couple chances later in the game, but at the plate he has been struggling over his last 12. Doesn't have a hit since June 23rd.
Tim Tawa now the hitter with a runner on first. Tawa, a rising junior at Stanford, swings the first pitch fastball and tips it off the glove of the catcher Welch.
This is a guy who also might be finding his swing. 2 for 4 last night. He had an RBI to give the Commodores a 4-1 lead.
I feel like we just haven't seen him really a lot. And he has 26 at-bats now. Pickoff move over to first, nothing doing. But I don't know. I'm so used to seeing some of these guys at the plate and know what to expect. And Tim Tawa, I don't feel that way. Still less than 30 ABs. He's been playing pretty much every other game. Fastball up and away. Although he can play pretty much every position.
Right.
He's playing third base today. Coming in for Steven Moretto from Game 1. The pitch Again, tapped foul back into the fence, and Tawa falls behind 1-2.
This is where Tawa has to improve strikeouts in 5 straight games. And in those 5 games, he has gone down by way of the case 7 times. So 2-strike hitting, leaving something to be desired here on the summer.
Fetterman nods his head, comes set at the belt, comes home with the 1-2, and it misses high. Setting up way outside was Welch. They were probably looking for a slider to go break over the outside corner, and it looked like it just did not break at all. Maisel stands on deck, so you want to put runners on base for him. Here's the 2-strike pitch, misses upstairs. It's a full count.
Couple 3-ball counts that we've seen in this half inning. We saw one in the bottom of the first as well. Sort of uncharacteristic for Fetterman.
Fetterman, not a guy who walks a lot of batters. Lets up a good amount of hits, but usually can get out of jams. Back-to-back years at Miami with sub-4 ERAs as this is fouled back. Terrell giving chase. He's near the fence by the bullpen, and it goes out of play. But Fetterman, a 2.25 ERA as a freshman. That led the Hurricanes, and then this past year, 3.51. Tim Tawa had a down year in his sophomore year compared to his freshman year, but his freshman year kind of just played too well. He
set the bar high.
Yeah, he set the bar high. He hit just below 300 at 296. The payoff pitch with the runner going. Ground ball towards the right side. That skips up off the mound, and somehow, some way, Tyler Doan stays with it and gets the out at first. Barron thought it was out number 3, and he was jogging back to the dugout. And he is lucky that his teammates knew how many outs there were.
Slight mental mistake for Radcliffe. He jogs back to second, no harm, no foul. But yeah, weird bounce off of the right side of the mound. Stayed up in the air for Dones, who is moving over towards second base as well. So maybe the fact that Radcliffe was going on the pitch helped him out.
Here comes Austin Maisel, who's become a hit machine. He's batting .500 in his limited appearances. He watches a ball high.
1 extra base hit against Katuitt on July 3rd. He and Brett Becker tried to stretch it into a triple. He was tagged out in a pickle in between second and third.
1-0, misses high yet again. Fetterman just kind of overthrowing the fastball right now. See that with guys who kind of pride themselves on velocity. Sometimes they can go overboard with it and miss a lot. Maisel, the 9-hitter in this lineup, but he does not hit like one. Pretty much every 9-hitter we see, whether it's Maisel or Kendall, usually more the getting more hits than not. 2-0. That fastball hits the strike zone, and it's 2-1.
Saw Langworthy in the 9 spot a couple times as well. Commodores very complete and consistent, I would say, 1 through 9.
Yeah.
Because they don't have as much power as in years past, but they have a lot of guys who hit in the same clip, the mid-200s.
2-1 will have to wait. Radcliffe was way off the bag, but no one was covering, so Fetterman couldn't pick him off. That's something I noticed in this 4-game win streak, is that maybe Blake Dunn going 4 for 5 yesterday stands out, but not really any guys 1 through 9 standing out like, oh, he went 4 for 4 with a grand slam or something. Foul ball. 2-2 goes the count. Deloach obviously 3 for 3 a couple of times, but didn't really have too many RBIs. It's just very well spread, and that's obviously what's going to happen when you have a dozen hits per game, is that it's not going to all be in for 1 or 2 guys, but it's spread all throughout the lineup.
Right. Some teams struggle with the bottom of the order, sort of not picking up the slack, and that all of their runs come by way of hitters 1 through 4. Falmouth is not that kind of team.
2-2 the count to the man at the last spot in the order. He sees a breaking ball, fouls it away towards the left side. This should be playable, and making the grab. Nice catch made by Jorge Arenas. Had to track it over his back shoulder. That will retire the side. Falmouth scores no runs on no hits, no errors, and they strand Radcliffe at second. We'll head to the top of inning number 3, 2-0 Chatham.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu. www.curry.edu.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
And tie that ribbon to the fence.
Top of the third we go from Falmouth. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 for Chatham. Dones, Polkovich, O'Gwyn in a 2-0 Chatham lead. Danny LaRose, David Korzenowski here in the Eric Palmer press box at Arnie Allen Diamond at Gov Fuller Field.
What's the name of the press box again? Eric Palmer press box.
Yes.
Also known as Pat's Loft.
True.
A lot of names.
A lot of names.
A lot of history here in Falmouth.
First pitch misses maybe a little bit low, not quite sure. Falmouth is the oldest Cape Cod League team, I believe.
Don't know that off the top of my head, so I'm not going to verify for you.
Was told that by the Falmouth mayor. So he might be a little biased.
Interesting.
1-0 from Robbie Alstrom on the inside corner. Chatham, meanwhile, they're probably the most known Cape Cod League team.
I would agree.
They definitely have the most fame, the most, if you're thinking Cape Cod League and you're just a general, Cape Cod resident, Massachusetts, or college baseball fan, Chatham comes to mind.
Well, the movie, what was it?
Summer Catch.
Summer Catch.
He played
is
for
one.
Played for the Chatham A's, as they used to be called.
And what's his name in the movie? I still haven't watched it.
It's Freddie Prinze Jr. plays him.
Okay, so Freddie Prinze Jr. is a pitcher on the Chatham Anglers.
2-1, fouled back 2-2, and guess who he no-hits?
The Falmouth Commodores
Yep.
in the final scene of the movie, right?
Don't spoil it.
Well, sorry. I mean, you were the one who said, guess who he no-hits.
Yeah, well, that's not the... It's a
So
rom-com.
Are the Falmouth Commodores the villain in that movie? Are they the big bad,
No.
No, they're just a random
It's not like the Mighty Ducks where they have to get
Sure.
past Iceland.
Right.
Of all countries, Iceland is the dominant one in hockey. 2-2, breaking ball swung on and missed. Doan swings out of his shoes, and he's just kind of laughing at that curveball. That was a foolish curve.
Yeah, that was nasty. Might have been a slider, too. It had some action from the center of the plate to the inside. And Doan swung out of his shoes on that one. Ended up swiveling around and facing the dugout, where he walks back.
So the heart of the order will get their chances with nobody on and one out. Caden Polkovich, who struck out swinging his first time up on a couple of questionable calls down at first base. Foul away.
You are not allowed in the police-secured parking lot. You'll have to leave those foul balls alone.
2-0 in favor of the Anglers thanks to back-to-back hits in the second, a double, and then a home run from Charlie Welch. All around that, pretty easy outs. 0-1. Rocketed into left field. That one's going to get down in front of Austin Maisel. And holding up at first base is Polkovich, who improves to 1 for 2.
I think it was that same off speed. He timed it up well. Started the swing a little bit earlier and threw his bat head out at it. Pulled it to left field. No chance for Maisel, who again loses his hat.
Every time.
Do we make that Twitter account yet? Austin Maisel's hat.
Stop leaving me behind. Jamal
Maybe he just has a small head.
Maybe. You want to measure it?
Sure.
Get out the measuring tape. Jamal O'Gwyn is going to step up to the plate. Last time up, he walked and stranded at first. Ball 1 misses outside. He walks a ton. Has walks in now 5 of his last 6 games. Because he walked last game. No, 6 of his last 7 now. Keeps getting on base no matter what way it happens. As he watches ball 2 miss outside.
Second in the team in walks with 15 behind Caden Polkovich out at first base.
Those two batting 3 and 4. High walk numbers, but not leading off for the Anglers. Alstrom from the stretch fires a 2-0 fastball. That one is shot out into center field, or left center field, pardon me. It's cut off by Maisel. He's going to go to second with it rather than going to third. Probably had a chance to catch Polkovich, who did not hesitate to go on to third base. But instead, throw goes into second, and there are runners on the corners.
He gets a thumbs up from Hayden Cantrell, who immediately, as soon as he caught that ball, flashed his thumbs up and said, right decision to Austin. I thought the same thing. I thought he might have had a chance at third when Polkovich was rounding, but Hayden Cantrell, middle infielder, sort of the captain of this team if you had to name one, claps his hand into his mitt after the play.
First pitch to Alex Terrell, taken a little too far inside. Terrell with a huge opportunity to really break out of the slump that he has been in. Went 0 in game 1, couple of strikeouts. Pickoff move over to first, but safe is Jamal O'Gwyn. And then he had a soft roller over to first with a couple guys on with 2 outs in the first inning that ended that inning.
Yeah, 1 for his last 14 is Terrell.
1-0. Inside ball 2, and now you're kind of giving him a real good opportunity to break out of this. He was such a highly touted recruit out of Davie, Florida. Was the #1 first baseman in Florida, #2 player in Florida, the number 20 overall in America. Another pickoff move. That one's dropped by Jackson Coots, rolls away, and a run is going to score. Alstrom trying to get some of those slingshots over to first base to catch O'Gwyn sleeping, but he throws it away, and Polkovich will score on the error.
It's going to be ruled an E1, so an unearned run scores, but Alstrom's own doing. It's just inaccurate to Coots as it was a little bit farther up the line, if you will, between first and second.
Terrell pops that one up on the infield in foul ground. Coots gives a look, but that's well out of play. So Alex Terrell had 5 straight games without an RBI, coming off of a 2019 campaign where he had 67 RBIs. That was second on the team and by far the most from a Hurricane in a couple of years. But then this summer, 5 straight games without an RBI, gets one thanks to the error. 2-1 the count. Here's Alstrom's pitch. Breaking ball, just misses inside.
But going back to that play with the throw from Alstrom, Coots was kind of blocked by O'Gwyn when he tried to make the grab.
3-1 is a big curve that swung on and missed. That thing looked sharp. Yeah, you had to reach a little bit, reach over him. Couldn't really get off the bag or else he would have knocked him over. And those are 2 big boys at first base. Coots 6'3", O'Gwyn 6'4". Full count to Terrell. The payoff pitch. Curveball, and that one is socked into right field, but way foul. So Terrell just being able to sit far back enough to get a piece.
That almost hit a fan who literally just walked in to Gov Fuller Field.
That's high up there then.
That is high up there. And these Chatham anglers are really getting to Alstrom. They can hit the fastball far, and they're sitting on the curveball.
Second time through the lineup, they have been great. Another payoff pitch and another foul ball. It probably would have been ball 4, but Terrell trying to protect the plate, swings at the fastball and hits it to the left side out of play.
It's a great AB for Terrell. Feels like he's winning this battle. Alstrom getting a little bit frustrated. He's thrown a lot of strikes. Now 51 pitches, 2/3 of them 4 strikes. But Terrell seems to know exactly what's coming.
Another 3-2. The runner from first goes, and this one, another blast into right field, and yet again it's foul. So he's too far out ahead of the curveballs, and he's just a tad behind the fastballs. So far, he is putting good wood on these, but can't get them into fair territory.
It's going to be pitch 9 of the at-bat coming up. And if I'm Alstrom right now, I'm a little bit rattled with how hard Terrell is hitting the ball.
Payoff pitch, breaking ball, and that is boomed out into right field. Baron Radcliffe giving chase towards foul ground, and he somehow makes the grab on the run, and O'Gwyn was not expecting him to make the grab, so he had to hold up at first, couldn't even tag up.
And if I'm Robbie Alstrom and I get out of this inning just giving up the 1 run, I am thanking Barron Radcliffe because Alex Terrell had Alstrom's number in that at-bat. He roped some foul balls, probably a combined close to 1,000 feet. I mean, there were probably 3 foul balls, seriously.
Yeah.
That went probably 300 to 400 feet.
And exit
he was
velocity.
crushing those balls.
Exit velocity at like 1,000 miles per hour on those foul balls, too. 2 outs, though, with O'Gwyn on first. Kalalau swings and misses at the first pitch fastball. And that one, he got a good swing on it, but it just kind of hit the skinny part of the barrel because it was up and in. So a great pitch by Alstrom on 3-2, not allowing Terrell to get extended and nearly breaking his bat. Kalalau, who's 0 for 1 with a ground out, watches the 0-1 miss low. Kendrick, a rival of the previous batter, Alex Terrell. Kalalau plays for the University of Florida. 2019, 287, 43 RBIs, a 30th round draft pick by the Cardinals in 2018. Runner goes from first. It's a curveball. This is going to be a tough throw down to second, and yeah, nowhere close. Skips into center field, and that's going to be an easy third base for O'Gwyn. Smith's throw tailed a lot, and Cantrell couldn't squeeze it. That'll be an E2. And O'Gwyn takes second and third.
Couple errors for the Doors here in this half inning. Looking a little bit less sharp in Game 2 than in Game 1. Saw that first matchup was a very clean game for both teams, just the 1 error.
One, two now the count. So Alstrom with a chance with a strike here to get out of the jam, just 1 run. The pitch. Curveball over towards the right side, and that finds a hole. Maybe the softest hit we've seen all game, but Kalalau gets an RBI regardless. It's now 4-0 in favor of the Anglers.
Kalalau will take it. First hit of his summer, and it's an RBI. Chatham now sitting pretty with a 4-run lead, and Landry's going to come out for another visit. I think he's going to the bullpen for Aiden Maldonado.
Yeah, Robbie Alstrom is being hit around a lot, and Shane Drohan ready to come in to make his first appearance of the summer. They're going from lefty back to lefty. Alstrom hit around a lot in the second and the third. He allows a total of 6 hits, 4 runs, and his line is not yet final, with Kalalau standing on first base. And Shane Drohan, the rising senior at Florida State University. Ton of Floridians in this ball game.
Yeah.
This is
well, across the league, too. I mean,
yeah.
Florida's just a hotbed for talent.
But in this ball game alone, you got the big 3 represented on a ton of spots, and Shane Drohan is going to represent Florida State for the first time in this ball game. Left-handed pitcher, rising junior, from Jupiter, Florida, 6'3", 194. Saw a very limited time late in the season as FSU was making their run into Omaha. He lost his starting role, but hey, that works out for the Doors because they've got a fresh arm.
Yeah, they do, and this is a guy who just got into town along with Matt Nelson, recently activated just a couple days ago. 3.66 ERA his sophomore year. 71 strikeouts in just 51 2/3 innings pitched. He was drafted out of high school in the 23rd round and making his first appearance on the summer.
So he's got kind of a cool story just this past year. His freshman year, he was coming into Florida State as the number 4 pitcher in Florida and the number 19 lefty in the nation. Comes into Florida State, throws 4 1/3 innings pitching, 6 appearances, 10 runs, 10 walks, only 1 strikeout, a horrendous freshman campaign. And Mike Martin in fall ball said that he thought that Shane was going to be a weekend starter. And a lot of Florida State fans very upset with that. They didn't see a lot to like out of Shane his freshman year, and they thought that Martin, was off his rocker. Well, he made a good decision because his final statistics, again, didn't really get to pitch in the postseason at all. Made no appearances. But his final statistics on his sophomore year, 3-1 record, 3.66 ERA as that starter. How about this? 71 Ks compared to 48 walks in 51 2/3 innings. So whereas the walk to strikeout ratio, or strikeout to walk ratio, I should say, was 1 to 10 as a freshman, really turned it around as a sophomore.
He's got a lot of potential. 6'3", 200. Staying with the lefties does Mike Landry.
It'll be to face a righty in Jorge Arenas, so not playing the matchups, but going with the new guy. Drohan from the stretch fires a first pitch fastball on the outside corner for the first strike. Arenas doubled in the second inning and came around to score. Another Florida guy from Stetson. Stetson saw Florida State this year, and they enjoyed seeing them, beat them, and no-hit the Seminoles. That fastball in and out of the glove of Taylor Smith goes back to the backstop, and an easy second base for Kalalau.
Another mistake for the Commodores here in the third. I think the bottom of the third inning is going to be really important for how they respond.
If you could chip away a little bit in that inning, don't have to put up a 4 spot, but 1, maybe 2, and get the ball rolling, because they've still only got 1 hit.
Exactly. And this game feels all Chatham right now, for sure.
Falmouth committing a bunch of mistakes as well in the field. 2 errors, both coming in this inning. Fastball on the inside corner, that's a strike. So 1-2 now the count to Jorge Arenas, who, how about this? He got the save a couple nights ago. Had to face only 1 batter against Orleans in an 8-7 ball game because Chatham had run out of pitchers. They were saving Fetterman for this start, and they threw in their third baseman. He pops a fly ball on the infield. Jackson Coots has the grab just a couple feet behind first base on the line, and that will retire the side. But Chatham, they score 2 on 3 hits, 2 errors, and 1 runner left on base. Very sloppy inning for Falmouth defense and pitching, but they've got a chance to bounce back here in the home third. We'll be right back on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Please remember to recycle your empty bottles, cans, and all other recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball cap.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. Let's go!
Finally,
Finally.
Very smooth, clean read by David Korzenowski.
Thank you. I had one where I didn't screw up, but I went so slow that it wasn't even a win.
It was agonizing. It was a win. I'll give it to you. He's now batting 2 for 6.
Hey, 333 gets me into the Hall of Fame.
Hayden Cantrell, speaking of 333, Hayden Cantrell was batting 333 over his last 15 or so at-bats. So far today, he's got a single, and he'll be leading off the third inning just like he did the first. 1, 2, 3 in the order for Falmouth, trailing by 4. So they've got their work cut out for them. And keep in mind, 7-inning ball game because it's the second game of a doubleheader. So, you know, time is of the essence, basically. Fetterman from the windup comes home. Ball outside. Over at third base, Arenas is playing pretty far in on the grass, maybe looking for bunt, but I don't know if I'd have Cantrell bunt the way he's swinging. Came into this game batting 338. 1-0. Just clips the outside edge, and Fetterman not leaving a lot of pitches over the plate.
No, not at all. He's been very tough to hit his first time through the order. Only allowed 3 base runners and 1 hit.
Here's the 1-1. The 1 hit coming against Hayden Cantrell. So Hayden, right when he got that hit, he started to think, well, maybe the ball's going to get rolling early for the Doors again. They got another base runner on an error, and then they stranded those guys on first and second. 2-1. Ground ball right at second base. That's going to be fielded easily by Dones, and he gets the out. 1 up, 1 down.
Fetterman's looked really good. Again, since that error by Morrell in the first inning, he's retired 7 of 8 now.
Only guy to reach base after the error, Baron Radcliffe, and he was hit by a pitch. The one hit against Fetterman, it was a blooper too. So not much that he's allowed. Like I said, look, he's looking for the chance to shine in front of the scouts as a starter. First pitch he throws to Blake Dunn. Blake tries to check his swing, but he still makes contact. Obviously, starting pitchers a lot more appealing and get higher draft picks than do relievers. 0-1. Dunn watches a breaking ball that beautifully sits over the inside corner. That thing was unhittable.
Yeah, that had such late movement. It looked like it traveled, pretty much to home plate before it broke.
Yeah. Here's the 0-2 from Fed. Fastball up high, but he doesn't get done to chase.
So I'm curious, you've seen this guy a lot more than any of us have. Were there any outings that stuck out to you that you watched from him? Anything in particular?
There was one very negative that stuck out. There were a couple times, 2 or 3 times, where he came into games late and he just absolutely blew the game. One that sticks out was against Wake Forest. Miami was winning 4-1 at Wake, looking to sweep the series. As a fastball just gets the outside corner, and Blake Dunn is a strikeout victim, beautifully placed by Fetterman. So he's not looking like that right now, but this was against Wake. It was the only game of the day. It was on national television, ESPNU. He comes in the 8th inning. Pretty big lead for Miami, lets up 4 or 5 runs, and Miami ends up dropping that game, winning the series, but dropping that game right on the cusp of sweeping it. That's one that sticks out because it was so rare to see him fall apart late. Zach DeLoach, who struck out swinging his first time up, watches a ball up high.
Because we talked about that with Thomas Gerard's stats yesterday, right? We talked about how he's such a good pitcher on the Cape. We've been so impressed with him. He had a 1-5 record at Duke.
Yeah.
He blew a good amount of games.
1-0 comes inside on the corner for a strike. I remember Gerard late in the season. I can't remember if it was the ACC tournament or if it was in regionals or maybe just the last week of the regular season. And he got tagged for a bunch as there's a line drive right at Fetterman's teammate Alex Terrell. 3 up, 3 down in the 3rd. He's looking as sharp as ever as he retires the side in order. To the bottom of the 3rd, or excuse me, the top of the 4th we go. 4-0 in favor of the Anglers.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu. Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Please remember to recycle your empty bottles, cans, and all other recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball cap.
Shane Drohan back out for his first full inning of work as he'll face 8, 9, and 1. Welch, Wallace, and Morrell. Welch, in his first time up, hit an absolute bomb over the left field fence, a 2-run home run that in this 4-0 game are the game-winning runs. .0 from Drohan, misses high. Final line for the starter, Robbie Ahlstrom. 2 2/3 innings of work, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. So not the best line, and he was getting tattooed on a lot of those hits.
Yeah, it just speaks to how hard and how often he was getting hit. Those 6 hits and the 3 runs in under 3 innings of work. Not what he wanted in his first start.
3-0 from Drohan, misses high. 3 of those 4 pitches were well off the plate, and a 4-pitch walk will lead things off for Chatham.
all the momentum in favor of the visiting team right now. I mentioned how in the bottom of the third, maybe it was an opportunity for the Dores to get back into things, try to get some runners on base with the top of the order coming to the plate. They go down in order. And now Drohan, a little bit wild.
Yeah, he cannot find the strike zone. It's 5 straight pitches off the plate. This first one to Paxton Wallace, who's 0 for 1. Here's the pitch. Fastball just at the knees, and it's now 1-1. Drohan's first strike thrown of the inning. Wallace at Wichita State this year, played in every single game, all 57. Batted .256 with 9 home runs and 35 RBI, so a powerful bat. He led the team in home runs and was second in doubles as well. 1-2. Breaking ball on the outside. Nope, just off. Nope, it is. Vicente Medina fooling everybody as the late punch-out call is out number 1. I knew it was a strike.
Yeah.
Yeah. He took his time.
I heard the first huh, and then I was like, wait, was that a strike? And then it was like a beat, and then he was like, huh, huh. Got him. Huh, huh, huh.
Pulling the lever on the lawnmower, as I like to call it.
I like that.
Strike 1 to Houston Morel, who's 0 for 2.
One interesting thing on Paxton Wallace, though, that I wanted to hit on. He chose Wichita State even though he knew he'd be playing behind Alec Baum. It's a corner infielder for Wichita State, who was the 3rd overall pick, I believe, in 2018. And a Falmouth Commodore.
Runner is going, and another errant throw behind the plate by Taylor Smith. But for whatever reason, Charlie Welch is going to decide not to test third. Looked like he was going to have third base easily, but all of a sudden got the stop sign, so he had to jog back. But the wild pitch, then an error, gives Welch an easy second base.
So he was going on the pitch, I believe. And then when the pitch was in the dirt, snuck past Smith. Chaotic again.
Yeah, Falmouth just sloppy right now. Nonetheless, count is 1-1 to Morel. Yeah, Alec Baum, 2017 Falmouth Commodore. Number 3 overall, and then followed up by the number 1 overall pick a year later. Dores represented well in the first round. Ball 2 misses high.
Went to the Phillies. Shout out Rob Kaufman. He was very happy about that. Our intern director here.
Couple of their
Dores.
Couple of their big young names. Reese Hoskins, a 2013 Dore, and now Alec Baum, who's yet to make the big leagues, but well on his way. 2-1. Fly ball into right field. Barron Radcliffe has to go over to his left. He gets there, makes the catch. Welch is going to tag up from second, and there's going to be no throw. So a runner on third with 2 outs for Tyler Dones.
Now batting, the second baseman from West Virginia University.
And Dones went down on that lethal slider from Robbie Elstrom his last time up. He's now seen a handful of guys go up against Drohan. Runner in scoring position. A 5-run deficit in the 4th would be tough to overcome in a 7-inning ball game.
Tyler Dones, 1 for 2, single and a strikeout. 2019 statistics, .316 average, 5 home runs, 32 RBIs. Was tied on for the lead of the team in average. He watches a first pitch breaking ball hit the knees. He was Big 12 all-freshman team a couple of years ago. That one misses, and Smith just able to get a piece of it so that it couldn't go too far away, and Welch has to hang on at third.
Yeah, in 2019, he had an 8-game hit streak to start the season, did Dones. Guy who made a lot of contact with that .316 average.
The 1-1. Fastball fouled away, and I don't know what it was with Dones. Maybe he had to have made the roster for the regional. Of course, the teams that go to the postseason, they have to cut down their rosters even further, so they can't take everyone.
Right.
But I'm sure Dones was there. He played in 59 games this past year, but he's been with Chatham since June 10th, since opening day, despite playing in a regional. Typically, you see regional guys not come till maybe the second week of the season. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball. It's hit into center field. Dunn is giving chase, but that one's going to get down, and he can't cut it off. It rolls to the wall. Tyler Dones with a ton of speed. He around second, and he's going to take third easily. Throw comes in way late. Tyler Dones, an RBI triple, puts Chatham up 5-0.
So it was definitely going to be a double, and Blake took an aggressive route to it, tried to cut it off before it got back to the wall, bobbled the ball a little bit, quickly spun around, and threw it in. Ruled a triple from Dones, his first triple and first extra base hit of the summer.
That one perfectly split the gap, and Dunn, with plenty of speed himself, had no shot. Fastball runs way inside. Smith can't block it. And Dones is going to tap home plate with his right pointer finger. No contest from the doors. The wheels are fully off the wagon.
Yeah, I feel like, what was it, 30 seconds ago that Dones was at home plate in the batter's box, and then he gets a triple. Next pitch is a wild pitch.
Smith having a tough time behind home plate, keeping things in order as the ball misses high 2-0. Drohan having a tough time hitting the plate.
Yeah, so I was talking to Assistant General Manager, former Commodores intern, Connor Peters, who, despite his title, big fan of the Commodores, right? He follows the team super closely, paying attention to the roster, helping out our general manager, Chris Fitzgerald. Asked what I thought about the team, and I think the key is always pitching in baseball.
Yeah.
And in this game, pitching has just not been as strong. Bats as well, but 6 runs in 4 innings, not ideal.
A 3-0 green light, and Caden Polkovich is a pop-out victim. So how about that? Drohan getting some help thanks to a 3-0 swing. Polkovich goes down, and that will retire the side. But Chatham adds on 2 more. They have scored 2 runs in 3 straight innings to take a 6-0 lead. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Falmouth with their work cut out for them.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod Healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgentcare.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Bottom of the 4th we go, and it's a 6-0 deficit for the Commodores to come back from. Haven't seen them come back from a deficit this large. We've seen some other teams do it, but Doors have not. Trey Cruz is going to lead things off, the shortstop who struck out looking his first time up.
Closest we've seen is a couple of 5-run comebacks against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks in a 9-9 tie, so didn't fully get the win in that one.
Line drive off the bat of Cruz. That one is up and over the head of the center fielder, Polkovich. Cruz is going to round second and stop there as the throw comes in a hurry. But how about that? Thought it was going to drop in front of Polkovich. Polkovich was lining it up to catch it. All of a sudden, the thing just kept on carrying and zoomed right over his head.
That's the tough thing about playing center field is when those balls come straight at you, they can be really tough to read as far as depth. We saw it in the first hit of the game, same exact spot in center field, except it died. And he thought it was going to go back further. So he takes 2 steps back. Oh, this one is dying in front of me. That's a hit. This one, he knew it was going to be back, but he couldn't get there in time. And again, when you can't read it from one side to the other, it can be really tough to make those plays. First
pitch to Jackson Coots way outside. The wind is still kind of, lax, looking at the foul pole in right the flagpole, in right field, and the flag is just, a couple of furls over towards center field with the clouds moving from east to west, or west to east. Strike hits the inside corner. So those clouds looked pretty dark, but looks like they're gone.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
I was getting worried. I was legitimately
we're almost through 5 innings too. We'd probably get it in.
And in 7, you probably only have to go through.
Although the Doors might want a rain out.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
1-1 to Coots. Breaking ball sits high. Jackson definitely doesn't want one. And remember, after the hailstorm we saw in Wareham, he said to one of his teammates, "I just want to get it into a rhythm."
Right.
Well, he's had a rhythm for most of the season. Hits in almost every game. So far today, he's 0 for 1. He really blasted a pitch into center field, but it was caught. He blasts another into center field. Back is Polkovich. He's at the track, at the wall, leaps, can't make that one either. Crashes into the fence, gets himself up. Jackson Coots around second. He's coming into third. He is going to slide safe into third base. Cruz scores. Jackson, after the wild throw, is going to stay at third base.
Holy moly. Caden Polkovich, that's a tough day out in center field.
Yeah.
And this is a guy, Danny, who has moved all over the place for Chatham. He's been at third base. He's been at shortstop. He's been at second base, left and center field. And now we have the trainer, infielders, and outfielders all going to meet up with Polkovich. He leapt and hit into the wall pretty hard. That is just basically a chain link fence out in center field.
Yeah, he got himself up pretty quickly once he kind of took a moment to gather himself.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he definitely took a little bit of an awkward spill, and they're way out in deep center field. You mentioned tough day, and not his fault. Both of those over his head. Maybe the first one he lined up, pretty poorly. He thought it was going to come to him. But, again, that one hopped the wall. This one hopped the wall. So Polkovich just, kind of has to chase down some really awkwardly flying balls, and he can't come up with either of them. Back-to-back extra base hits for the 4-hitter and the 5-hitter. And while they are attending to Polkovich out in center field, we're going to head to a quick break. We'll be right back on the Commodores Baseball Network.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
After the injury in center field, Polkovich is going to decide that his day is done, and Cade Cabanis is going to come in relief for him. So after the awkward fall on the chain link fence, Polkovich is walking off under his own power, a little gimpy on the left ankle, but looks like for the most part it's more precautionary, and Cabanis is going to get his shot out in center field.
Yeah, that's the number one thing about summer leagues, right? You never want to be pushing it as far as player safety. That's what Jeff Trundy always says. When there's a rainout decision, I know it's annoying for all these makeup games for the players and the interns, but I remember talking to him a couple times with these rainouts at Gov Fuller Field, and the number one thing he's talking about with his assistant coaches and the general manager and others is, hey, this is all about player safety. If it's even remotely unsafe or there's a chance that someone's getting injured, we're not going to play. Same sort of thing with that collision out in center. Why chance it? Just go and make sure he's okay.
So the collision all set and done. Falmouth, they have some life here in the fourth. A double by Trey Cruz, followed up by a triple by Jackson Coots, who's got 2 long fly balls into center field, 1 caught, 1 that fell. And now Taylor Smith up to the plate in a 6-1 game. Fouls back a couple, quickly behind 0-2. Coots standing on third with no outs, so a sacrifice fly or a ground ball should score him, the infield playing back. Chatham still with a comfortable lead at 5. Fetterman from the windup with Coots on third. Not much of a speed threat, not going to be dancing. Here's the 0-2, just off the outside corner.
Gutsy take from Smith on the fastball. Fetterman missing just a hair outside. Cabanis doing a little bit of warm-up routines out in center to get loose.
1-2 up around the neck of Taylor Smith, so he's gotten the count back to even.
Cabanis was the guy who was supposed to be in the 6th spot for Kalalau. Again, Tom Holliday making that switch once they found out that Robbie Alstrom, the lefty, was starting.
2-2. Upstairs, ball 3. So Cabanis was supposed to be in the 6th hole. Now he'll be bumped into the 3 hole in replacement of Polkovich. But Jackson Coots continues to be red hot. He has another hit today. Seems like he's always got at least one hit. Payoff pitch. Upstairs, ball 4. How about that for Taylor Smith? Falls behind 0-2. Watches a couple close pitches from Fetterman. Works the count full and gets himself a walk.
And the first walk issued by Fetterman this evening. Guy who does not walk a lot of batters. Sets up runners on the corners with Radcliffe coming up. And I know I've said this before, but this is a great time for Radcliffe to put one into the gap, try to get that first extra base hit.
If there's any way to get the monkey off your back, this would be the opportunity to, as he socks one into deep right center field. That one should stay playable. New guy, Cabanis, calls for it, and he makes the grab probably about 5 feet in front of the fence. Tagging up and scoring is Jackson Coots. That was off the end of the bat from Radcliffe. Yeah. On off the bat, you knew it wasn't going to be out of here, but he still pushed it that deep.
It was similar to the Welch home run, I feel like. That had a pretty high angle, launch angle, as it came off the bat. But Welch's was able to carry over the field and left. Radcliffe with that huge frame, 6'4", 235. Big swing on that one. And again, skied into right center field, but nearly leaked over the fence.
Tim Tawa is the hitter. He blasts one right back through the box, and it is somehow caught over in center field. Wow, that was a tricky one. Shortstop Houston Morel got there on the outfield grass, and he caught it because it hit the mound and got really high up in the air. Still a single for Tawa. All that happened was Morel prevented it from reaching center field.
And still the Doors can add a run, maybe 2 more here in the 4th, as the only out scored a run on the sac fly into center. That was a hard hit ball from Tawa on the first pitch. They're swinging much more early against Fetterman.
Yeah, only 1 out against them in this inning, and Maisel at the plate with runners on first and second. First pitch he sees is a breaking ball on the inside corner. Austin Maisel 0 for 1, popped out to third base to end the second. Fetterman from the stretch. Kicks and fires home to the Holy Cross Crusader. Fouled away. No balls, 2 strikes. Maisel, who has been super dominant for Falmouth. 11 for 23 on the summer. Leading the team in batting average despite not getting as many chances. Skinny lefty from Holy Cross facing the guy from Miami. It's a ground ball right back to the mound. Fetterman gets there, throws on to second for 1, on to first. 1-6-3 double play ends the inning. A fantastic athletic play by Daniel Fetterman, followed up by an absolute bullet to second base, turns the double play. Falmouth keeps the runs at only 2 on 3 hits, no errors, and a runner left on base. Welcome back into the booth. The Bats were alive that inning. They got a bunch of hits, but just a great play by Fetterman, and tough go of it for Austin Maisel.
Yeah, it was a good play, not what Maisel wanted. He wanted to not get on top of that one. It was a chopper back to Fetterman, grounding into a double play right when the offense is getting a little bit of mojo. You're still down 4. Hopefully that leaks into the 5th inning if you're Falmouth, but no guarantees.
Doors have been a little bit sloppy in this game number 2, and you got to think, how do you respond after game 1 with a walk-off? Do you come back as hot, or do you make some mistakes? And our own Katie Florio is going to tell us what their mentality was. Katie.
Thanks, guys, and what an exciting first game. In between games, I asked Zach Deloach how you quickly turn around and refocus for the second game after winning on a walk-off, and he said the preparation never changes. You're always preparing for what's next. Obviously, they celebrated what happened, but then they got right back to work. But Falmouth certainly still has work to do. They're trailing 6-2 after 4 innings, but have started chipping away.
Thank you, Katie. So as she mentioned, Falmouth starting to chip away a little bit, keeping the same mentality where you're always preparing for what's next, not being hung over, I guess you could say, from the Game 1 win. But hey, things got a little bit sloppy in that fourth inning, and I don't think it's the walk-off that does it, but they just don't look like the same team that they were in Game 1 where everything was so smooth.
I still like the response in the bottom of the fourth. They had a couple hard-hit balls from Cruz and Coots to get things going. Radcliffe gets another RBI on the hard-hit sacrifice fly. Again, top of the order coming up in the fifth, another chance, but if you are Sean Mullen right now, the reliever, you got to buckle down and try to get your offense in a position to make a comeback.
Sean Mullen, the native of Bakersfield, plays his baseball with UCLA, will come on in relief. It was Shane Drohan after the starter, Robbie Ahlstrom. Drohan got into a little bit of trouble, allowed a couple of runs, and now Sean Mullen will be the man on the call in the fifth inning. And it's a 4-run deficit, so it's nothing too crazy. They did finally get to Fetterman back in that fourth inning. Now Sean Mullen going to try to set Jamal O'Gwin down. He's got to face 4, 5, and 6, O'Gwin, Terrell, and Kalalau, so a lot of power in this stretch of the lineup. First pitch from the righty. Fastball swung on and popped out towards first base. Jackson Coots is underneath it, and he makes the grab just on the cusp of the outfield grass.
Seen a few hit in that direction towards Coots. He's looked pretty sure-handed over at first. So no traditional first baseman in the lineup for the Commodores. We've seen them shuffle a handful of guys over there, but I think that the guys who they have played at first, Danny, are starting to get the hang of it.
Yeah. Coots definitely, he has not looked bad at first at all. I mean, right when they put him into first base in the first game, he looked like he knew what he was doing. First pitch outside to Alex Terrell. He flew out to right field his first time up, and it was a great catch made by Barron Radcliffe on the run in foul territory, saving a potential run because Terrell was swinging such a slick bat in that AB. It was just only a matter of time until he connected with one.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like Ahlstrom dodged a bullet when he faced Terrell.
Sean Mullen, we mentioned on the mound. He is making his fourth appearance, 3.85 ERA. His first appearance was the only one in which he allowed runs. It was the 9-6 win over Yarmouth Dennis in another doubleheader. 2 earned runs on 3 hits, but then responded with 2 innings against YD on June 28th, 4 strikeouts and 6 batters faced. Nobody reached base in those 2 innings. And then Brewster, he pitched an inning and allowed a hit, but didn't allow a run. He's now behind 3-1 to big bad Alex Terrell, who's 0 for 2, but had a crazy sophomore year for the Canes. Watches a strike just paint the outside black. 24 home runs, 67 RBIs for the first baseman. So far this summer, not so good. Ground ball right side. That one just dives foul as it was on the first base chalk on the line right there, and then Coots couldn't get to it before it bounced to the right of the bag.
He was there, though. Maybe it would have been a tough play to shift his momentum back to first base, but he got to the ball in time, fielded it into the glove.
So full count now to Terrell. Mullen's payoff pitch, ground ball right at Hayden Cantrell. This should be an easy 4-3 putout, and it is. 2 up, 2 down. Terrell now 0 for 3, and he's 0 for 6 collectively on the day.
Yeah, tough day for Alex Terrell. Maybe he'll get one more at bat in the 7th, but at least he's not striking out as much in this second game.
Yep.
A couple ground outs.
Kendrick Kalalau now the hitter with nobody on and 2 outs in the 5th. First pitch he sees from Mullen, a strike. Quickly want to say, you know how I mentioned how it was like an all-Florida Big 3 affair before? Also a big Archbishop McCarthy reunion. That's a school down in South Florida. Alex Terrell, Daniel Fetterman, the starter for Chatham, both went to that school, graduated together, won 3 state championships and a national championship with McCarthy. Anthony Villar, I believe, went there as well, another Chatham player. And Trey Cruz was there for his first 2 years of high school before moving to Houston. Fastball just misses outside. So 3 Anglers and Hurricanes, and then 1 Rice Owl and Commodore all went to high school together, playing here on the Cape. 1-2 from Mullen. Fastball just low.
These balls that Mullen has thrown have barely missed. He's been all in and around the strike zone.
So far he's been perfect. A pop out and a ground out Trying to get Kalalau down. The 2-2. Clubbed out to left field. Maisel is underneath it. Has to wait a while for that one to come down. That was skied, but Maisel makes the grab regardless. A 1-2-3 inning worked by Sean Mullen. That's the first 1-2-3 inning for Doors pitching here in Game 2. We will head to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's 6-2 Chatham.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Please remember to recycle your empty bottles, cans, and all other recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball cap.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Perhaps a welcome sight for the Falmouth Commodores as we begin the bottom of inning number 5. No more Daniel Fetterman on the hill, who kept Falmouth pretty quiet up until the 4th inning. It'll be Mason Hazelwood, a Wildcat from the University of Kentucky. Big boy, a lefty, 6'5", 200. He'll have to face Hayden Cantrell, now batting from the right side for the first time today.
Strike one from Hazelwood, who has been lights out this summer. 1.54 ERA in 11 2/3 innings of work. Almost a 5-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio with 19 Ks and 4 walks.
His 0-1 to Cantrell is sliced towards the right side, foul.
Still without a loss to his ledger. Picked up a win against Yarmouth Dennis in 3 innings of work. Rising junior at Kentucky had a 3.92 ERA his sophomore campaign.
He rocks and fires an 0-2 to Cantrell, and he misses high with a fastball. Hayden has been very tough to put down on strikes this summer, something we couldn't really say for him last summer.
Yeah.
But he's really limited those strikeouts, just part of the glow-up he has had. 1-2. Line drive into left field. That one gets down for a hit. Looked like a breaking ball, and Hayden stayed right on it as he is on base with his second single in 3 appearances.
Now batting, the center fielder from Western
Just doesn't stop, dude. He
He's
does
so
not
good.
stop. 339 average coming into game 2, 2 for 3 here in the 5th. And I remember watching him on that 2018 Falmouth Commodores team, Danny, and no disrespect to him, he looked like sort of a little fish in a big pond because there were so many huge power hitters on the team.
That's a great way to put it.
And there were a lot of guys who were drafted extremely high. He was only a rising sophomore last year, too, so again, had a little bit of youth on his side and just didn't have the same, I don't know, presence, I guess, that he has had this summer as the leadoff guy. And you pointed it out day one when he's walking in with his Doors gear. Like, he knew what this league, what this team is all about. He's just hit the ground running, and he has not stopped.
Blake Dunn tried to poke a bunt but fouled it away on the first pitch. He's down 0-1. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I agree wholeheartedly. And just from last year where he was just kind of, a piece of...
Because he did well last summer.
Yeah, but he was more of a piece in the lineup,
Right.
and this year he's the face of the team. Hazelwood from the stretch, looking back Cantrell a couple times, fires home a fastball to Dunn, Now it's 0-2. His two-strike hitting has improved. His power has improved, limiting the strikeouts. He's not walking as much, but still walking pretty consistently. He's stealing tons of bases. It is just a full all-around onslaught offensively for Hayden Cantrell. And you know what? His defense has been dominant too. He's not making errors anymore.
Right.
He was making a couple of errors last year.
Yeah, he had a handful. Only one error in the field for Cantrell this summer.
0-2, Blake Dunn takes a three-quarter swing, and he goes around. He is put down on only a few pitches. Back-to-back strikeouts against Dunn.
A little bit of a tougher game for Blake Dunn here in number 2. 2 strikeouts, reached on an error. Deloach as well. It's been held hitless with a lineout and a strikeout.
Zach Deloach, statistically speaking, is due. 400-plus hitter, and he's given Hayden Cantrell a run for his money for face of the team. As he swings the first pitch breaking ball, it's out into left field. It's a long run, a slide, and a catch made by Jamal O'Gwyn in foul ground as Deloach is quickly retired.
Now batting, the shortstop from Rice University.
It's just a great play by O'Gwyn. Deloach's first time against Hazelwood was a little bit late on the fastball, poked it into the opposite field, and it just hung up long enough for O'Gwyn to get there. Good presence on the slide.
Trey Cruz batting from the right side for the first time in Game 2. 1 for 2 with a double and a run scored. Watches a first pitch fastball miss outside. Hazelwood, we mentioned that stellar ERA, very stout pitcher from UK. Hasn't really had to throw too many pitches so far to get 2 outs, only 9. That fastball misses down low, 2-0. So a leadoff hit from Hayden Cantrell. Is the third leadoff hit for the Doors in this ball game. 2 of them coming from Hayden, and he was stranded the first time. Cruz ahead now 3-0. Trey and Hayden, best friends. I don't know if they knew each other before they got to Falmouth, but
they did.
It seems like they have been friends for life.
Yeah.
And Cruz trying to knock in his buddy from only first base. The pitch. Downstairs, ball 4. Trey will take that. It's a 4-pitch walk, and Jackson Coots will come up to the plate. 2 ducks on the pond and 2 outs.
Number 39, Jackson Coots.
Both pitchers who have come onto the bump for the Chatham Anglers, guys who do not walk a lot of batters. Fetterman had just 2 free passes coming into the game, and he issued only 1 walk. Hazelwood with his first just now, and I mentioned 19 strikeouts and 4 walks coming into this game.
Jackson Coots swings at the first pitch breaking ball, and he was nowhere close.
Yeah, that was a nasty pitch from Hazelwood. Something he does really well. Some pitchers can't look back as they start their pitch from the stretch. Look at this. He's looking back Cantrell the whole way as he picks up that front leg.
Coots fouls that one off of his front foot. He's now down 0-2. Jackson's last time up, he hit a triple. Scored a run as well, so he now has RBIs in 2 of his last 3 games. Had a 2 RBI double against Brewster on July 2nd. Coots also has 9 hits in 11 games played on the summer. He's in a hole right here against the lefty Hazelwood, 0-2. He's going to call for time, didn't feel comfortable.
He does it a lot. I think it works in his favor. Plays a little mind games with the pitcher, tries to throw him off a little bit.
That was probably what he was going for, I bet, knowing Jackson. The 0-2, outside.
I don't know. Being pesky is something that's kind of underrated in sports.
I think so, too, yeah.
Just being able to get those little advantages any way you can mentally.
Hayden Cantrell doesn't need to be told that. He's always dancing on the base paths, doing whatever he can to get an edge. The 1-2, outside, and Coots holds up the swing. That looked like a good pitch for a long while, took a sharp break, and Jackson just manages to not swing.
Well, we saw that big power from Coots in his last AB with a triple. Second extra base hit of the year. He had a double earlier in the season.
He's just lining things up too well. He keeps hitting them to center field, the deepest part of the ballpark.
True.
Hazelwood's 2-2. Fastball at the knees and on the inside corner, strike 3 called, and Coots knew it. He walks back to the dugout, a strikeout victim for the first time tonight, and we will head to the top of inning number 6 after Falmouth scores no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and strand 2 on base. It's 6-2 Anglers here at the Gov.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu. Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Please remember to recycle your empty bottles, cans, and all other recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball cap.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness. Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
Top of the 6th inning, 6-2 Chatham. Danny LaRose and David Korzenowski here from Gov Fuller Field. David, you're looking alive.
Yes, sir. It's been a great day. Game 2 not going how the Commodores wanted, but I don't know, it just feels good to be in a rhythm as a team, both media team, baseball team.
I'm sure playing every day, and I can say broadcasting every day like we were supposed to, finally feels right. 1-0 the count after Mullen fired a ball to Arenas. Now he misses outside, and it's quickly 2 balls and no strikes. It was a beautiful day today, real hot. It's a Friday. So I think people are looking forward to that. And Falmouth won Game 1. And the way this Chatham team was playing, I'm sure splitting the doubleheader is a lot that, you know, they would it's something they would have probably wanted. You can't expect much more.
I think so. I mean, a sweep would have been nice. I mean, it's still possible. There's still 2 innings left, and this team has been hitting well in the past few innings. But Chatham, the hottest team entering the day, Falmouth stops them in Game 1 with a walk-off, first walk-off of the year for the Commodores. That does some wonders for your energy and your confidence as a team.
Oh, yeah.
Helps with the bonding and all that.
Here's the 2-1 from Mullen, fastball low, 3-1. First time these Commodores played Chatham was on June 12th. It was at Chatham, and if you look back at those lineups, you probably wouldn't recognize too many of the names to these lineups. Chatham has usually the all-star roster, as here's a line drive driven just past the glove of Trey Cruz and into left field. So the first hit and base runner allowed by Sean Mullen is a Jorge Arenas leadoff single.
Cruz was almost there. He's had a couple of those plays where he's had that glove outstretched and the hand wide open. And he's kicking himself a little bit. I mean, he's joking with Tim Tawa over at third, but he wanted that one.
Just the positioning. He's so close.
Right,
if he maybe stood a couple feet further to the right, initially he could get there. Charlie Welch, who is 1 for 1, a home run and a walk, 2 runs scored, shows bunt, gets it down up the first base side. That's a beauty. Jackson Coots has to jog back to the bag, and he covers it successfully. Sean Mullen the whole time was saying, I got it, I'll take it, you just cover. And they get the play 1-3 on the sacrifice.
Welch does his job, moves Arenas over towards second base. But yeah, I thought that might have been trouble with Coots dashing towards the ball.
Yeah.
He quickly stopped on a dime and headed back to the bag.
Little mound visit from Taylor Smith. He jogs back behind home plate. So, as we were saying a couple of moments ago, first time these two teams played, Chatham, we knew that they were going to have probably one of the most star-studded rosters on the Cape, if not the most. And at the time, I remember saying that this is the time where you want to beat Chatham because it's before they have, those powerhouses.
Right.
And now they're all here, and Falmouth was still able to win Game 1. So they're 2-0 against the Anglers on the summer, which not many other teams can say they are. First pitch thrown to Paxton Wallace is fouled away towards the right field bleachers.
And speaking of Chatham's record versus various teams, interesting that all 7 of their losses have come against the Western Division.
Wow.
They are undefeated against the East at 7-0-1. They lost to Wareham a couple of times. Strangely enough, Bourne has beaten Chatham twice.
Falmouth has twice, looking for 3. There's a swing and a miss, 0-2. So far, it's looking in Chatham's direction, as they are neck and neck with the Orleans Firebirds at first place in the Eastern Division. The YD Red Sox. Orleans only a point behind as well.
Yeah, those 3 teams really bunched together 1 through 3 in the East.
Tied with YD, a point ahead of Orleans. Here's the pitch, fouled back. Orleans got off to a rockin' start, and then they stumbled, losing 2 in a row against these Anglers. We'll get around the Cape League maybe next half inning.
Yeah, next half inning.
We can see how...
I'm filling up my car with some gas first.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see how Orleans is faring, because I'm hearing some whispers.
Oh, yeah?
And they're not looking good.
I'll let you
Birds.
know. I'll let you know.
0-2 the count against the righty Wallace. He's 0 for 2. Mullen from the stretch. Huge lead being taken by Arenas, and Mullen's going to look him back. Couple stolen bases on the game for Chatham, as they have tested Taylor Smith twice, and both times he's delivered some wild throws.
Arenas 2 for 2 on the year on stolen base attempts.
The 0-2. Down and away. Way too far off the bag is Arenas. The throw goes down to second. Cantrell now over to third. Tag applied. He is out. How about that? A back pick for Taylor Smith. And the Commodores erase the base runner.
Smart. Very, very smart play. Mullen was looking towards him at second base. Didn't on that pitch. And then a throw down from Smith immediately to Cantrell. Immediately to Tawa. Arenas has a ton of speed because he almost beat out that throw.
Yeah.
Despite being in the middle of second and third, as that ball was coming into Hayden Cantrell, just speaks to how quick he is on the base paths.
1-2, 2 outs, nobody on, swing and a miss, strike 3. So just like that, 2 outs on only 1 pitch.
There we go.
Arenas is picked off, Wallace strikes out, and we will end the top of the 6th inning 1-2-3 after some hijinks. To the bottom of the 6th we go. It's still 6-2 in favor of the Anglers.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
David.
Yeah.
Did you get gas?
I did.
Can you take us around the Cape?
I'm revved up. I'm ready to go. I'm going to take you around the Cape, and instead of going in order of the game started, I'm going to take you geographically around the Cape.
I like it. Where are
we
starting?
We're starting at Gov Fuller Field. Game 1, the Falmouth Commodores beat the Chatham Anglers 3-2 on a walk-off. In case you missed it, that was 3 p.m. in Game 1, and Falmouth with their first walk-off of the year. We're going to head west quickly. Okay. Across the bridge, we're going to go to Spillane Field. Wareham up 12-2 on Orleans.
Oh, no.
That's a surprising score out in Wareham. Top of the 5th inning, and Orleans' pitching has faltered these past few games. They let up 8 runs to Chatham last 2 nights, and now 12 to Wareham in just the 5th inning. Head over to Bourne, right across the bridge. 3-0 Braves lead against the Mariners. Mariners have also struggled as of late, and Bourne trying to claw their way back into 3rd place in the West Division. Hyannis at home against Cotuit, and the Kettleers trying to bounce back from 2 losses to Falmouth. They are up 5-3 on the Harbor Hawks. Tough day again to be a Harbor Hawks fan.
Strike 1 hits the outside corner to the leadoff man, Taylor Smith.
And then last but not least, way out east on the Cape at Stony Brook Field, Brewster and YD about finished. Whitecaps up 11-7 on the Red Sox.
I like that. A lot of different action going on.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect Brewster to have such a big lead on YD, given the way they've been playing. Also, Orleans and Wareham, that's just a mess of a ball game.
Right.
Orleans' team ERA was tops in the Cape when these two teams, Falmouth and Orleans, faced off each other earlier this week. And then the next 3 games just kind of fell apart. I mean, 16 runs allowed in 2 games to Chatham, and now 12 runs through not even half a game to Wareham. Here's the 2-1 to Taylor Smith, 3-1. Hazelwood still on the bump, but off to a rocky start.
And Falmouth will head out to Stony Brook Field tomorrow. 5 p.m. first pitch against the Whitecaps. Falmouth broke through that offensive slump against Brewster here a couple nights ago with a 12-7 win.
3-1 ball misses down and in, and Taylor Smith has first base on a free pass. That is something that the Chatham pitching really struggles with. We saw Katuitt struggle with it against Falmouth, and Falmouth is a team that loves to walk, as Hazelwood has now walked his first batter.
Katuitt and Chatham, 3rd and 4th respectively in walks issued by a pitching staff. Falmouth, on the other hand, they do draw quite a bit of walks, tied for 3rd on the Cape League as a batting order with 70.
There's another ball fired high to Barron Radcliffe. Barron's had a pretty productive game at the plate. Hit by pitch in the 2nd inning and a sacrifice fly in the 4th. The 1-0. Fastball strike down the middle. He just doesn't seem to register those really, good pitches.
I think he's patient at the plate. I think that's part of his MO. And I think Falmouth has had more success when they're swinging early.
Yeah. 1-1. Another fastball, and that one further to the corner, but catches a chunk of the outside half. Now 1-2 after 2 good pitches. I agree a ton. I mean, Hayden Cantrell, he's batting over 300 by swinging at the first pitch basically every at-bat. It's not always a formula for success, but you don't have to face the dirty stuff when you're down 2 strikes. There's a fastball just off the plate.
And he had probably his hardest hit ball of the summer. I can't remember any in a game that went much further than that sacrifice fly in the 4th. That was way back at the track.
Only 3 hits on the summer. The 2-2 way inside, and Barron doing a limbo to dodge that one. That was some flexibility.
That was.
Kept his balance while basically going all the way back. Full count now to the big lefty from Georgia Tech. The payoff pitch popped up in the air towards the left side. That really jammed up Radcliffe as he tosses the bat and is recorded an out.
Yeah, he just can't quite line it up right now. That's another ball where he's just a little bit under it. Puts a good swing on the ball, but having trouble connecting in the way that he wants.
Tim Tawa, who's starting to put together a couple of hits per game, is up to the plate. He's 1 for 2, had a single his last time up. He had a hit in yesterday's ball game against Katuitt. It was good for an RBI. So he's a guy, got off to a rocky start, sub 200, but getting things going. Swings at the first pitch like we were saying, but fouls it away.
Nice catch by a fan out by the bleachers. Good crowd on hand for game number 2.
Quick game, unfortunately, for them. If they're just coming for the 6 o'clock game, they lose out on a couple innings.
Right.
Ball high, as Falmouth only has 4 more outs to work with and 4 runs to make up. 1-1 to Tawa, who's 1 for 2, came into the day batting 192. Fouls away another towards the berm out in right field. Right-hander warming up in the pen for the Doors.
Looks like Brixie to me.
Typical closer in Zach Brixie, who didn't come in for the save situation yesterday. It was Thomas Gerard who got his first save. The 1-2. Big looping curve. Tawa out ahead of it and fouls it off.
Speaking of Gerard, his grandfather Ed Gerard honored pregame for Military Appreciation Night, a veteran. It was a really nice ceremony. The color guard that they had I thought was great.
Yeah. Have all the military families join the team out on the field.
And then there was a Korean War veteran who threw out the first pitch. He had quite the arm.
Ball 2 misses up and away. Yeah, he had he threw a dart. And
87 years old, and he's the defending, I think, 2-time Falmouth Road Race winner for the age group of 84 to 89.
The fact they have an age group for that, range is impressive in and of itself. And he threw a dart. They mentioned how he had 8 great-great-grandchildren,
Right.
19 grandchildren.
That was awesome,
so
yeah.
I'm sure he's playing catch with them all the time. Gets to practice.
Falmouth Road Race, for people who are unfamiliar with it, 7-mile road race at the end of every summer here in Falmouth. It's actually pretty well regarded around the country. A lot of people come to run it.
Payoff pitch to Tawa, fouled back. So Tim putting up a pretty good AB against Hazelwood, who not throwing all too many strikes. He's nearly matching his ball number with his strike number. Another 3-2 offering. Juicy pitch, inner half, about belt high, and Tim just misses it as he fouls it back.
It's a good AB from Tim Tawa. Pitch number 9 coming up from Hazelwood. He's making him work.
Smith with a lead off of first, not big from the catcher. Another 3-2, another foul ball, same exact spot every time.
Love to see it, though. Something's got to give. Tawa starting to swing a hotter bat, trying to get that average above 200.
Austin Maisel stands on deck. Last time he was up, there were runners on first and second. He grounded into a double play.
Whoa.
Tawa is just making this at-bat ridiculously long. It's going to be a dozen pitches, at least.
Yeah, I think this is pitch 11 coming up.
I've lost count.
It's 11.
Okay.
11 coming up, yeah.
21 strikes, 17 balls from Hazelwood, and half of them coming in this at-bat. Another payoff pitch. That one catches the inside corner, strike 3 called. He went with a curveball as opposed to a fastball and finally got Tawa to lay off. He strikes out.
Hazelwood wins the battle. That's a dirty pitch inside part of the plate and low. Really tough for a righty to square up on that one. If he does put that in play, it's probably a dribbler.
So Falmouth, who has begun to limit the strikeouts on the season, they were striking out a ton early on, starting to limit them lately, do have 6 Ks through 6 innings in Game 2. Game 1, they had struck out all of once. 1-0 the count to Maisel. There's a fastball strike on the outer half. Austin is 0 for 2. Couple of slowly hit balls pop out to third, and then the double play that ended the fourth was a fantastic play by the pitcher getting well off the mound. There's a line drive up and over the glove of Hazelwood, and that's a base hit for Austin Maisel. He continues to rake, improves to 1 for 3 on the day. If he doesn't get another at-bat, that will bring down his batting average, just to put it into perspective.
And I think he had a little chip on his shoulder after the double play that he grounded into in the fourth, because that was when Falmouth had their offensive momentum, scored the 2 runs that they have in this game, and they had runners on first and second with Maisel at the plate.
Yeah, they've got first and second with Cantrell at the plate. 2 outs, however, so less room for error. Hayden, however, has been awesome. 2 for 3 in this ball game. Was 2 for 3 in the previous ball game. Lines 1 foul. 0-1 the count. He had a double in Game 1 in his first at-bat, a single in his final at-bat, then came around to score the winning run. Had a single in his first at-bat and a single in his third at-bat here in Game 2. Maisel on first, Taylor Smith on second, so not too much speed in scoring position with the catcher. But he'll be running on contact. The 0-1. Chopped back up the middle. This could be trouble. Coming in is the shortstop Morrell, and he's not going to even have a play. Doesn't even try, as Hayden Cantrell is there easily, and the bases are loaded.
And that's a smart eat by Morrell. We actually might have had a substitute in. Yeah, it is Ben Ramirez. So they go back to Ben Ramirez at short. And he knew the play that he made in Game 1 on a play like that. Soft hit ground ball, tough play to make. He tried to force the throw over to first, and it ended up sailing. So he gets a second chance at it and decides not to throw because it would have scored Smith if it was Wild.
So our apologies. Ramirez is now the substitution at shortstop for Morel as a first pitch strike is fired over the plate to Blake Dunn. He's 0 for 3, reached on an error in the first and then strikeouts in his next 2 ABs. Has been hot lately but cooled off in this game. Watches the ball outside. Another bases loaded opportunity for the Doors, but yet again it comes with 2 outs. It's like every time.
Right. And Blake Dunn, I feel like, has been up with the bases loaded a handful of times.
The 1-1 from Hazelwood, breaking ball that does not break, it stays outside. One of those times that really sticks out at Yarmouth Dennis, 4-3 game, we've gone over this. 1 out, bases loaded. He watches a pitch right down the middle, called for strike 3.
Yeah, I don't think he swung the bat once in that AB.
Now he'll have to wait to swing the bat as there will be a mound visit. Heading over to the mound is the pitching coach Dennis Cook in his 2nd season, brought on by Tom Holliday, the head coach, and he's going to talk things over with the catcher and the pitcher Hazelwood.
Yeah, Cook and Holliday have worked together before. They were both at Texas in the early 2000s. Cook has played with a handful of major league teams. You ready?
Yeah.
Giants, Phillies, Dodgers, Indians, White Sox, Rangers, Marlins, Mets, and Angels. 9 teams.
The life of a reliever.
And he was a reliever with the Marlins when they won the World Series.
He's got a ring as he has a really quick visit to the mound. And now Dunn swings at that one, pokes it through the hole on the right side. That will score 1. Coming around and trying to test it is Maisel. Throwing to the plate. Not in time. A 2-run single off the bat of Blake Dunn. And this is a ball game once again. It's 6-4.
It's exactly what Blake Dunn wants to do. He splits the middle infield on the right side between Dones and Terrell. No chance for either of them to get to that ball. And what a great play. After Smith gets on with the walk, Radcliffe and Tawa go down in order. The inning seems almost over. Maisel gets a single. Cantrell gets an infield single. Dunn pokes one into right field. All of a sudden, just a 2-run deficit that seems much more manageable for Falmouth.
3 straight innings where the Doors have gotten the leadoff man on base. First pitch to Zach Deloach, ground ball right at the second baseman. He bobbles it, throw on to first, just gets it in time. Dones had trouble with it, but he makes up for it and gets Deloach, who's retired on only 1 pitch. But Falmouth, heading into the final frame, are right back in it. They scored 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. To the 7th we go. It's 6-4.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
As we begin the final frame, we'll take a look at the road ahead for the Falmouth Commodores. You have it on your screen right there. Big road stretch coming up. Only a couple home games within the next week.
Yeah, I hope we actually get gas for next week because we got Bourne, Hyannis, Katuitt. Those are all relatively close by. But then a trip out to Chatham. That'll be the last matchup of the regular season between the Doors and the Anglers. We'll head back to Veterans Field almost on 1 month exactly from the first matchup between these two teams on June 12th. And then back home against Bourne. I think those 2 games against Bourne are what stick out to me the most.
Yeah.
Because with a couple of Braves wins, all of a sudden 3rd and 4th become close again. With a couple more Falmouth wins, they could possibly start creeping up to Katuitt and Wareham, especially now that they're catching up as far as games played.
Yep, and they could kick Bourne down even further
Right.
and make Bourne less of a threat to test them for third place if they were to cement themselves there. So 2 season series will be wrapped up in the next week. First, Harwich, because there was a doubleheader played at Harwich and a home game for Falmouth as they approach another home game against Harwich. And then the Chatham season series, as you mentioned, will be wrapping up on July 11th. But first, it's Game 3 against the Anglers for 2019. Zach Brixey is the pitcher. He'll be going up against the left-handed swinging Ben Ramirez. Brixey, typically a closer for the Doors, has 3 saves and 3 appearances. This is his 4th. Not a save situation, but a very important one nonetheless, as his first pitch is a strike. Because if he keeps this, as is, maybe a 1-2-3 inning, retains the momentum for the Doors, and they can potentially chalk up some runs in the next inning.
Definitely.
0-1 fastball is clubbed out to left field. Maisel is there, and he catches it on a line for the first out.
For the Commodores, a junior out of Virginia Tech University.
That's big, especially from Ramirez, pinch hitter for Morrell, who came in at short, and now Dones comes up, hitters 2 and 3 for Chatham. But this reminds me of the game against Orleans. A little bit of a different feel as Falmouth is a much hotter team right now, but in talking to Mike Landry after the game about Worcester and Miller, who came in when Falmouth was down 2, he said in this type of situation, you just need your relievers to get you a hold. You need them to get in and out of the inning as quick as possible, get it back to the bats. So that's got to be Brixey's mentality.
So far, so good. He fired 2 pitches to Ramirez, got him to fly out. First pitch to Dones, misses just a little bit low. Tyler Dones has been arguably the most dangerous hitter in this lineup for Chatham in this ball game. 2 for 3 with a single and a triple and an RBI. He lines that one foul. 1-1 goes the count. Brixey on the summer, stellar. No runs allowed. 3 innings of work, 3 strikeouts, 3 saves. Just very, consistent.
He's only given up 1 hit. It was against Chatham. Only walked 1. It was against Yarmouth Dennis.
Yeah, his first save of the season came out at Veterans Field. The 1-1 from Brixey, another foul ball towards the right side, well out of play. He's a guy that prides himself on velocity, can hit 100, hit triple digits for Virginia Tech this past season. Polkovich stands on deck. He's 1 for 3. The pitch, ground ball right at Cantrell, sits back on it and boots it as that one rattles right off of the heel of his glove, too far away from him, and Dones is on first base thanks to the error.
So second error of the summer for Hayden Cantrell, and first in a while.
That was weird. He looked like he just knew he was going to record it, and then all of a sudden it ricocheted.
Yeah. Maybe something on the transfer. Could have been a weird bounce. Obviously not what Cantrell or Brixey or the Commodores wanted, but double play still gets him out, facing the minimum. Got to be careful now, though, with Cabanis and the meat of the order coming up. Jamalo Gwynn on deck. He's been hot.
Yeah, pardon me. It is Cabanis. He came in for Polkovich as a defensive replacement when Polkovich went down with a slight injury. Cade Cabanis, who did get the start in last game at right field, went 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts. Brixey's 0-1 offering. A fastball cut on and missed. Quickly 0-2, trying to make Cabanis 0 for 4 with 4 Ks on the afternoon. Cade from Oklahoma State, just like his counterpart here, replaced Polkovich. Brixey taking his time, coming back onto the rubber. 6-4 ball game in favor of the Anglers. The 0-2. Fastball cut on and missed, strike 3. Cabanis' poor day continues. He's got a golden sombrero for these 2 games. 0 for 3 with 3 Ks in game 1. 0 for 1 with a K in game 2.
That fastball hitting 94 right now. As the scouts right below us outside of the press box have their radar guns up and out. I wonder if the pitchers noticed that.
Oh, for sure.
Because they're facing them.
Yeah, they're
Literally
looking
right there.
at them. That's probably got to be so daunting. First pitch thrown to the cleanup man, O'Gwyn, is rocketed out to center field, but playable for Blake Dunn. He catches it, and the side is retired. Falmouth works around a one-out error. They allow no runs on no hits, just the one error, and a runner stranded on first base. Last chance for the Doors as we head to the bottom of the seventh. They trail by 2 on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
Bottom 7 from Gov Fuller Field. Danny LaRose, David Korsanowski on the call. 6-4 ball game in favor of Chatham, and they're bringing on the closer, Dawson Merriman, to try to set down the Doors and keep this in favor of the Anglers.
So he's been good. No runs allowed this summer. 7 innings of work, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Danny, ironically, he got his first win against Orleans in just a third of an inning because he pitched the top half against the Firebirds. But then, in the bottom half, Chatham scored on a walk-off throwing error, so he got the win. But oddly enough, that was his worst outing of the summer. In just a third of an inning, he walked 2 and allowed a hit. Somehow, no runs plated to his ledger. But perhaps Falmouth catching him at the right time. He's been locked down, or was locked down, I should say, in the month of June. Faltered a little bit more in July.
So he is coming on for a record-setting appearance. I mean, he is now appearing in his 9th game, which is far and away the most we've seen from any pitcher. First pitch swinging is Cruz. Looks like he broke the bat. Yes, he did on an outside fastball that he shot down the the left field line. So he'll have to go trade some lumber. Trey, 1 for 2 on the game. Double and a walk in his last 2 plate appearances. Game 1, he was pretty good as well. Went 2 for 3 with a single and a double. So happy birthday to Trey Cruz. You're giving yourself a pretty good gift.
And he wants even more, right? Chance for the Commodores to come back and possibly, this would feel like a steal if they win this game.
So Trey turning 21 today. He was a draft-eligible sophomore this year. I thought you had
He got
to be
drafted.
Yeah, and I thought you had to be 21 on the day of the draft.
Interesting.
Maybe they gave some layover for the July
fine
birthdays.
print.
0-1 to Cruz, misses outside. He's been drafted twice now, and it's going to be 3 times after 2020. Here's the 1-1. Fouled away.
So the side armor, Merriman, rising sophomore at Midland Junior College, 3.02 ERA during his freshman season, 8-6 record. He was a starter out at Midland and had the best ERA on the team.
His 1-2 fastball just below the knees. Trey with a close take, but it pays off.
Western Junior College Athletic Conference MVP was Merriman.
Here's the 2-2, fouled away. He's working quickly. Interesting arm slot from him. Kind of throws 3/4, but has speed with it too. Usually when we see a 3/4 guy, they have a big, long arm approach. But he's getting some velocity behind it. Quickly back from the windup, comes home. The 2-2. At the knees, strike 3. Called a late strike 3 by Vicente Medina. Looked like he thought about it for a second. Trey goes down.
Now batting, the first baseman from the University of Rhode Island.
Yeah, Cruz didn't like the fact that that was so late either. Had some words for Medina on his way back.
Tough. Got to protect on 2 strikes, especially given how these umpires all summer long, they're more favorable to pitchers. I have not seen one umpire. I have seen 1 or 2 that kind of squeeze pitchers, but for the most part, they are definitely wider strike zones more often than not. Coots fouls 1 away. 0-2 now. Jackson is 1 for 3, had a big RBI double in the 4th. Scored Falmouth's first run. They scored 2 in the 4th, 2 in the 6th. The 0-2. Just inside. 4th, 5th, and 6th innings, they all got the leadoff man on base. So the bats have been rowdy in the latter half. The 1-2. Fly ball into center field. This is easily playable out in center. Cabanis has it. 2 up, 2 down.
And it felt like Cruz was working along at bat. If he gets on base, I think this inning definitely has a different vibe. But with Coots coming up with 1 out, he has to protect. Couple swings and misses. Down to 2 strikes, and he lifts one into center field for the second time tonight.
So here's Taylor Smith. With Falmouth down to their final out, he is their last chance for now. 0 for 1, walked in his previous 2 plate appearances. First pitch he sees from Merriman, taken outside. Taylor, the catcher, transferring from Incarnate Word. That's in Texas. Going to Grayson County College, also in Texas. The 1-0, swung on and missed. Falmouth with 4 runs on 8 hits, 3 errors. Chatham 6 runs, 8 hits, only the 1 error. 1-1 misses outside. It was a sloppy middle of the game for the Doors. 3rd inning and the 4th inning really gave them some trouble on every end.
Errors have kind of been the difference, Danny, too,
Yeah.
as strike number 2 comes in, because 2 runs were unearned.
Yep. That is the difference.
That'll do it.
Would be 4-4 without those unearned runs. And the Doors are down to their final strike. Merriman's 2-2. Just low.
I appreciate your pause because we don't know if it's a ball or a strike until, a little bit of a couple beats after.
Here's the payoff pitch. Clubbed out into deep left field. This one is back at the wall. Leaping. It's out of here. Wow. Again, Taylor Smith comes through. His 3rd home run of the summer. Jamal O'Gwyn nearly came down with it. I thought he had it for a second.
I thought so too.
But it was a home run called by Mike Finn, the 3rd base umpire. Smith continues to tear it up.
How about that, Danny? He's got 4 hits this summer, a double and 3 home runs. What? Has anyone ever put up a stat line like that? That's crazy.
He's just like a power hitter true and true because he only hits for power. Barron Radcliffe, who's had a pretty rough summer, watches ball 1 outside. He's had a pretty good day at the plate. Reached base on a hit by pitch, sacrifice fly, but then his last time up, popped out. Checks his swing. Yes, he did, says Medina. And the entire Falmouth dugout is letting the home plate umpire hear it. So it's 6-5 now after the home run. The 1-1. Right down the middle. Every time.
I don't know. I'm not Barron Radcliffe. I'm not a D1 baseball player. You just got to be swinging the bat more.
The 1-2. Curveball just misses outside. Great back door, but maybe stayed a little too far off the plate. 2-2 the count. Falmouth down to their final strike again. The pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Baron Radcliffe goes down swinging to end the ball game. An exciting game, too, that sees Falmouth lose by only 1. Chatham victors in game 2 as they split the doubleheader. They win 6-5. And the Doors, if you were to tell them before the game that they were going to win one of them, lose one of them, they probably would have taken it given how Chatham has been playing. And both games very competitive because, hey, it was 2-2 for a long time in game 1. Falmouth won on a walk-off. Game 2, it was 6-0 Chatham. Falmouth put up 5 unanswered, but just couldn't scratch out a win.
Yeah, and I'm going to say the opposite is true too, Danny, because if you told Chatham that they come in and they split against the Red Hot Doors, they would probably take it as well.
Right.
These are 2 of the hotter teams in the Cape League. And what do we get? We get one-run victory for each team. I was really impressed with Falmouth's resiliency here in game number 2. You mentioned they almost claw back. Come so close. Just a couple things they need to polish up. They can't be making those errors. And in the middle of the game, they can't sort of be giving those free passes as the pitchers did. But that was really the difference, and I've been impressed with how Falmouth has played.
David, I may be speaking early, but this might be a matchup to look out for as we hit August.
Yeah.
I mean, both teams in separate divisions, so this could be a potential matchup on the grand stage. But let's look at the starter for Falmouth. This was really the first game. They had a 4-game win streak going, all 4 games. Pretty fantastic outings from the starting pitching. Yeah. And then Robbie Ahlstrom, the starter tonight, kind of falls off just a little bit, which may have been, the difference why they couldn't scratch out a 5th straight.
Yeah, he didn't have his greatest stuff. 2 2/3 innings of work, and we mentioned in relief he only pitched about 2 innings earlier this season. He gives up 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, walks 1, strikes out 3. But really, he was just getting hit hard. I mean, he was even some foul balls that were being taken for a ride. It looked like Chatham figured him out early, and it led to the early hook. A big reason that Chatham ended up winning this game.
And Chatham was able to put up a couple of runs in the second, third, and 4th innings. 2 runs in each of those innings in a row. That was all they needed. In the 2nd inning, Ahlstrom let up a home run, 2-run shot. 3rd inning, some errors came around. Yeah. He allowed 2 unearned runs, which, hey, you're looking at the score right now, 6-5 could have been the difference. And then the 4th, another run on a triple with a walk. So, some issues there for the defense and the pitching. You pretty much erase some of those mistakes, and it was really minor stuff. And Falmouth might come out on top because, again, the bats continue to be red hot.
Yeah, I'll hit on 2 things quickly. One, I think that it shows they're not completely out of the woods on their fielding mistakes. .966 fielding percentage entering the day, but they still need to polish it up, right? Yep. Even with a 4-game win streak, they can still get better. But the bats looked good again, even when they seem like down for the count with just 1 hit. They come alive late. I think they're doing everything right offensively.
So Daniel Fetterman in his 2nd start of the summer gets the win. He improves to 1-1. Robbie Ahlstrom gets tagged with the loss. Getting the save, Dawson Merriman. Got dicey, let up a solo home run, but he gets the save nonetheless. Final score from Falmouth, 6-5 in favor of Chatham, 6 runs on 8 hits, 1 error, 5 runs on 9 hits for the Doors, and 3 errors in this 7-inning ball game. So the Doors and the Anglers split a doubleheader through 3 games on the season series. Falmouth up 2-1 as Falmouth stays above 500 thanks to splitting that doubleheader. And tomorrow they'll look to improve their record heading out to Stony Brook Field for the first time this season. They'll be playing the Brewster Whitecaps first pitch at 5 p.m. Tune in to our YouTube channel around 4:50 for the pregame show. And that'll do it here from Gov Fuller Field. For my producer Tony Bianco, for Katie Florio, our sideline reporter, and David Korzanowski, my broadcast partner, I'm Daniel Rose saying so long.